Hello. Right on the 12th. Right as the clock strikes 12. We're back with another vampire visual novel of New York duology, I think is the correct term for this. So much for being such a professional, right? I can't even, like, truly. Yeah, it'd be duology, because there's two. The Shadows of New York, exploring. At the time this game was released, the newly printed La Sombra of the Camarilla, and a neonate of the clan of the La Sombra of the Camarilla. I remember this being a big change in the lore. Again, I haven't read any of the newer 5th edition books. I've read the La Sombra entry, and I've read some of that book. I've read a lot of that, like, early stuff, but I haven't read any of the later stuff. So I don't know how much of Sabat Player's Guide, Sabat the Black Hand, changed anything. But this is Shadows of New York, the one which gets better, and it has, I think, better art. This is a great screen. They kept the Sombra visual as well, especially with the cross and the shadows with ghosts and stuff in it. Even if calling it Oblivion, mixing it with necromancy, makes it way more sinister and way more linked to the giant hole in the universe. But hey, that doesn't matter. That meta plot does not matter. But we're going to be jumping right into it. I have played this game a bit before. But I've never got that far. I've got like 93 is the furthest I've gotten. If this is anything like the last one, there's like 17, 16, 15 nights. So I don't know how much different the stories are or anything like that. We're just gonna jump straight into it. Got my drink of water because there's a lot of speaking. Obviously, this is a visual novel, so I'll be doing a lot of reading. But we're just gonna jump right into it. And we're just gonna copy this one, yes, over right. Welcome to my castle. Also, more animation. Don't expect everyday logic to work here. It went out that window sometime after midnight, maybe earlier. My kingdom is not of this world, you see. It lies far outside of concrete, tangible reality. I've tried identifying the way the people reach it, and I'm convinced it has something to do with the moon. Some say the moon's aura turns them insane. You've heard the phrase moonstruck and lunatic. The way I see it, moonlight gives them some subliminal persuasion to reveal their true selves. And so, whenever the silver radiance guides them to the gates of this place, they feel different. Once they pass the doorstep, they're ready to act out. A dance of horrors and marvels begins. It's 3:30 a.m. Welcome to Big Beat Burger. Also, yeah, we got way more animations this time around. If you're here at this hour, I'm ashamed it's not an old Tully's, personally. That'd have been better, but hey. If you're here at this hour, you're not exactly ready up to be a productive member of society come tomorrow morning. More likely, you're praying that the sunrise never comes. Insatiable children of the night gathers around, hoping to bask in the afterglow of tonight's victories, unwinding after a frustrating series of failures, or simply fight to keep themselves together. Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here, really reveling in every interaction they have. They have no idea they are only here for my amusement. To them, I'm just a random girl sitting in the corner. But this is my domain. I've come here almost every night for years. I know where to sit, where to look, and where to eavesdrop for maximum amusement. I'm basically a voyeur, and unashamed to admit it. It gave me insight about the human condition I'll never otherwise gathered, and more importantly, a necessary skill set to make the ends meet as a journalist. As I write my crappy old laptop, patiently waiting for the legion of negative voices in my head to get too tired to offer useless feedback, I kept my senses peeled to pick up the stories around me. Of course, a lot of regular events such as food fights are nothing to write home about, aside from my unfortunate tendency to be cloud damaged in someone else's battle. Up to this day, I've had to wash clothes. I've had to wash clothes because of Coke, Diet Coke, and hot coffee, pie, apple pie, and some sort of improvised honey mustard bomb. Every stain tells a different story. Sometimes this hobby is exhausting, sometimes it's disturbing, sometimes it's dangerous, although not as risky as back when I wasn't carrying pepper spray. Still, the sites I've taken in over the years here have made it absolutely worth it. I've got so many stories. I don't know where to begin. Theatrical breaks-ups, impromptu morning parties, unexpected friendships forged in the fires of senseless battles, a lady in a gorgeous gimchi dress ordering a box of takeout chicken nuggets, paying with cash with her hand completely covered in blood. She was asked if she wanted a napkin. She said no. Two thirsty macho dudes shamelessly going at it in the corner, hushed moaning filling the lobby while everyone around them vehemently fights to act as usual and maintain an illusion of normalcy. A straight-up kung fu fight between a diminutive cashier and some drugged-up bodybuilder going through a psychotic episode, trying to break all the windows. The big guy left the joint fully convinced he KO'd himself, while the service worker was just standing next to him. She seemed proud of his victory too. A middle-aged hag getting a heart attack after screaming her lungs out not to let Muslims near her food, just after she saw a white girl wearing a hairnet behind the counter. A masked couple robbing the restaurant of 30 hamburgers, forcing employees to cook at gunpoint. Police later said they were art students reacting to some hipster book they read. This is life. This is humanity at its worst and best. This is the noise that serves as the foundation of my creativity. This is the soma that keeps me going. This is... As pathetic as it might sound, these days, this is the only place where I feel alive. Sometimes I think to myself as a leech, feeding on these people's stories, emotions, and personalities, just because I'm not satisfied with mine. At times, I think my psyche is some kind of shitty postmodern construction that is fundamentally incapable of honesty, but only earns for something that's something felt and truthful. Does this make any sense? I'll look at my screen on my laptop. It's 3:47 a.m. At this point, I'm almost symbolic, but nothing interesting has happened yet. Feels like all customers are watching each other tonight, hoping for others to provide fun diversions. This is my turf, you parasitic douchebags. Next time, go find your own. Think it's time to call it a night. Coffee I always order so that they don't kick me out as undrinkable. I reread the rough draft I've been working on for the past 6 hours. God damn, this is pure trash. Oh, okay. I've played this shit. It's been a while. I forget, like, Julie? Kind of a weird person if that intro is not made her character very clear. But that's relatable. That's relatable. I just like being, like, a writer, and, like, this is legitimately advice they give you as a writer. If you go to any writing course, eavesdrop. Eavesdrop wherever you go. Don't wear headphones. Eavesdrop on people. I've never been one for that. This kind of gives me insight on why you would do that. There's a lot of, like, obviously, how do you learn to write realistic dialogue if you do not listen to realistic people speak? If you do not listen to people speak, you can not write realistic dialogue. But I'm not going to get into the nuances of my writing theory. No one wants to hear that. But that is relatable to anyone who's worked in a creative field of just, like, spending 6 hours on a thing and being like, this is trash. Let's hope my employer ignores that. And hope it passes. I hold the backspace button until the Google Doc page is nothing but a calm white slate and I let out a sound of deep relief. There's no pleasure more intoxicating for a frustrating writer than ragging on someone even worse than them. And what target is easier than a dumb bitch used to be 10 minutes ago? I like that. That's a really good line. That line's good. I checked the time again. I need to go. I have an important meeting at 10 a.m. and I have a hunch it's not going to end well. And it's not because I'm an irresponsible dumbass who's going to need a few cups of coffee to simply function on a basic level, despite like 4 hours of sleep. It's because I've always had a hunch things aren't going the way they're supposed to. Click clack, click clack, click. The loud clanging of keyboards assaults me from all sides, makes a splitting headache unbearable. Used to be, I dreamed of nothing else but being a part of the New York Lodestar additional team. It was the first magazine I started reading regularly, the first magazine I ever bought myself. Now simply hearing the words Lodestar is enough to ruin my mood. Never mind seeing all these old farts phoning in more reactionary opinion columns on Wikipedia level analysis of current events. Click clack, click clack, click. They used to destroy and rebuild my entire worldview every month. They shaped me into thinking about politics, art, and journalism. They pointed me towards my favorite cigarette brand, for God's sake. Then the talented people started leaving for greener pastures. Some got too wrapped up in their own neuroses. Some became complicit. I wonder if I have a cigarette brand as... I don't know why I'm analysing this. It does kind of point at this that despite her value of this journalistic integrity, it's never always been that way. Because cigarettes brand advertisements and stuff. And Julie is, like, addicted. She's a smoker, so... For all of them committed to the sin of allowing themselves to grow older, fresh blood was deemed unnecessary, even though young freelancers kept being bled dry. These days, whenever someone from outside Lodestar talks about Lodestar, it's because of a few idealistic contributors willing to accept meager play while putting in the serious work. Dumbasses. Other than that, the magazine specializes in publishing pale echoes of provocative ideas. I heard somewhere else a few years prior, wrapped in an aesthetic that hasn't been cutting edge for decades. No wonder the readership is in freefall, but even though the ship is sinking, the old guard won't let it go down without a fight. As in, if anyone from outside attempts to board the vessel in hopes of fixing its course or its holes, they'll be swiftly taken care of. I should know. Been there, done that. As it stands, the only full-time staff members who doesn't make me regularly attempt to cringe my face off with his writing is Lodestar's editor-in-chief, Brian Nook. The man is sitting across from me right now. Of course, it's only a bad time for he's only has his time for additionals these days. A drop in the sea of needs imaginable duties hits him hard. It's the second time he lets out a theatrical cough like this. He said his piece. Now it's time for me to react, and I'm coming up blank. But what do you do what do you say? Brian, I'm pissed off. I can tell you already made up your mind, but you still want me to go through the motions just to make you feel listened to. Whatever, let's do this. I'm just gonna go right to it. The man's a sexual harasser, Brian. I feel stupid that I even have to say this out loud, but you're essentially covering for a sexual harasser, Brian. No, I'm not. No, just face it. Let's say Harvey Weinstein's story appeared on your desk instead of reaching the New York Times. Don't compare me to the Times. You know that's a low blow. You're asking for it. You're not exactly in a position to talk about low blows here. You know that's not the core of the issue. You've been avoiding the core of the issue. No, I believe I pinpoint precisely in a precise way. If it weren't up to me, I'd greenlight the article here and now, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But you're killing the article just because some rich shithead told you he doesn't like it. Get real. This is not about some millionaire jerk calling me to make me an offer I can't refuse. Well, then what's it about then? Because it looks awfully like it's about my bosses telling me this outlet can't afford the legal action we have already been threatened with. So, millionaire interference. Oh, for crying out loud, Julie. Julie? I don't know how you pronounce his name. Julie. We'll go Julie. Don't make me treat you like a child. You know how this works. I publish your stories. It's Theo versus Gorka all over again. A lawsuit here, a lawsuit there until we're bled dry. We have a mortgage. I have 3 months waiting to be fed at home. I have an amazing team that doesn't deserve to be torn apart over some. Don't you think it's telling you mentioned your mortgage first? Silence. Just asking questions. I know better than that. I know better than to get into some empty semantics arguments with you, Miss Krusowski. You're good at them. The problem is you're not good enough. Meaning, you're too in love with weaving a good story and establishing a seductive narrative to let facts get in the way. You've got enough boring suits with no. Let's go with that. I have no idea. Suits with no principles on board these days. You're always giving you facts because that's all they can do. I'm using facts in a way to approach some kind of truth. Except facts can blindside you. A double spiral has enough facts to water your story to a point where it makes no sense to publish at all. Oh, double spiral. I see why you'd want to play the first game before. Because I didn't originally and I didn't catch double spiral. Their HR and PR are working overtime to deliver a convincing counter-narrative, and they're doing a great job. Won't mitigate the damage completely, but will put every little thing in question. Jess Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and downright satanic fuckhead. Julie. Let me say it again. Jess Montgomery is a racist, a fraud, a sexual predator, and a downright satanic fuckhead. Do you personally believe it or not? This is not... You just listened to the tapes, you've read the transcripts, you've seen the documents, you've got the files. I'm asking for your personal opinion. Do you believe it or not? The last bit about being satanic, did she figure out, did she stumble across some vampiric stuff and she doesn't realize that, she's just oh, weird rich people satanic, doing weird rituals, drinking the blood of youth kind of thing? Click, click, clack, clack. Of course I do, but that's beside the point. It's not. Look. How about I just say it out loud and save us some both time? We're not having this conversation because there's an actual conversation to be had. You set up this meeting knowing very damn well there's only one way it's going to end. You've got a mortgage, 3 mouths to feed. You prioritize well-being of your direct surroundings over some nebulous concept of a greater good. I get it, I really do. Yet for some reason, it seems like you're only prolonging this conversation and rationalizing your decision so that I forgive you? Officially exonerate you? I'm not the bad guy here, Julie. I want to say you are. But it seems to me you won't be content with me saying just that. To me, it looks like you're having this talk because you're hoping that by the end, I'll somehow see things the way your way and call you a good man. He mutters something under his breath, ending you a self-pitying chuckle. If only. I might be protecting my ego here somewhat. That might be true, but I'm not deluded. I know that you're going to call me a scumbag by the time this conversation is over. Oh, come on. Don't turn this into a pity party. No, I'm absolutely a scumbag. And why is that? Because I'm firing you. My thoughts are scrambled. For a brief moment, say of a bank account, it displays before my eyes with startling clarity. A howling void opens in my chest and starts traveling towards my stomach. No, don't panic yet, you idiot. Get more information. Now, there must be a catch. We're just gonna go with you're joking. Oh, I get it. You're just kidding. I'm a jerk here, but I'm not that much of a jerk. No, wait, you can't... You're gonna say it's a prank. I know you. This isn't you. This isn't me. It's... them. What them? Who's them? He glances left and right and points upwards for a short moment, then speaks again in a hushed voice. You know, the big kahunas. Can't really question them, and they want your head on a silver platter. He's not looking at me in the eyes. You're not joking. As I said, I would never joke about stuff like this. It's real. Fucking hell, it's real. Damn it, 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 all to hell. All these years, all these grinding all my plans for what? Fucking asshole, you know I deserve better, and I always deserve better. And it always ends with me going down the back to the sewers. Fuck, no. Take a few deep breaths, don't lose the plot now. Keep yourself together, you idiot. The moment you show weakness, there you go for your throat. Get back in control. You can't do this. I wish I didn't have to, but it's a lost cause. No, I mean, it's impossible. Julie, you can't fire someone who's never been hired in the first place. It takes him a few seconds to get the, oh, I get it face. Lets out a troubling gasp and massages his temples. Those has been my biggest source of income for the past few years. That much has been true. But technically, nobody has ever hired me here. It's been all freelance jobs. A full-time position only served as a kind of dangling carrot, a promise of decent pay grade, a career perspectives, maybe some kind of insurance to save my failing health. But a recognition I would get for being part of Lone Star's team, a position everyone around seems to respect aside from me. Well, then why did I want it so much? There'll be time to mourn what could have been. For now, I should act like I don't care. You know what? You know what I mean. If I let you work here, even under a fake name, it'd be the guillotine for me. This is ridiculous. You know I'm going to start shopping this story around the second I leave this room, don't you? Of course I know. I've told him. And response, let us worry about that. Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all. Click, click, clack, clack, click. I do wonder if I could get accustomed to one of these loud mechanical keyboards some people here love to use. I love mechanical keyboards. They're great. The clicking and clacking is therapeutic. Whatever I did my work here, I was still expected to bring my own crappy laptop to sit closer to the lobby. Always on the outside, no matter how hard I try to break in. A vibration goes off in my back pocket. I feel like it's a bad omen. I decide to ignore it for now. I've been working this fucking story for, I don't know, 16 months on and off. I know. You kept cheering me on. I know. We have agreed that on the paid I'd receive. I know. And 2 months behind on my rent. No, wait. 2.5. I catch him off guard. He's momentarily taken aback, then gives me an empathetic stare. You don't you look at me that way. You don't have the right. I didn't know. Well, now you do. Look, if there's anything I can do to help. If you can't tell your big cocooners to fuck off, I don't think there's any single thing. Julie, I pull out smoke and light it up. Gotta get back in control. Please don't do that now. There's a smoke detector in here. No worries, Nick. Turned off weeks ago. Probably the most creative thing he's done in the past 5 years. Good old Nick, the perfect 21st century cinema reviewer. Never has an original thought of his own. Just relies on his pure algorithmic tastes to stay likable. And the best thing is it works. Funny, I used to dream about his job. It was Brian who killed the dream, making me realize Nick won't be unseated anytime soon, and offered to teach me the ways of investigating journalism instead. Wasn't the career I ever wanted to pursue, but by my dismay, I turned out to be surprisingly good at it until the Montgomery thing happened. Served me right. Lessons learned. Should have pursued my dreams instead. Stop it. Nicholas is a friend of mine, a respected critic, a member of my team, and pal at Smoke. Please tell me I let you step all over. People tell me I let you step all over me. Why do I even let you act this way? Because you once told me honesty is important in a mentor-student relationship, and that it works both ways, and because I thought we were friends. He bites his lips and stares to avoid my eyes. At the end of the day, bosses aren't friends. Must have been a terrible mentor if I didn't teach you that. I'm just gonna do ... I have nothing to say. The best I can do for now is just stay silent. I don't feel too stable right now, like I could explode any second. Julie, I may have failed you as a guide, but I will do what I can. But I will do what I can not to leave you stranded, okay? There are options. None of them are a remedy for all your troubles, but... Wait a second. A vibration in my phone pocket, another foreboding feeling. This time, ironically taking my smartphone out of my pocket. If it has to rain, why not let it pour? A new email, a lengthy one, and the sender, speak of the devil. ... No, this can't be. Christ. I got an email from Mila Lopez. She claims she'd just been laid off from Double Spiral, same as Mike Antonoff and Jade Reaver. What? What happens? I'll spare you the insults, okay? The key thing is, seems like HR knows all my confidential information about my journalistic investigation, and used it to shut everyone's mouths. Hell, apparently Montgomery's walked up to Lopez as she was emptying her desk and told her to thank me for being, quote, a dumb and careless... Brian goes pale. I think he has a very good reason to. You fucking scumbag! You outed my sources! What? Of course not. What are you even saying? Oh, Don't you dare play coy. It must have been either you or me and no one else. And you know the way I work. My investigation was basically untraceable, both on and offline. Carefully picked meeting spots, encryption upon encryption. Every every quote reread 5 times, just in case. All, of course, red herring scattered around. I know my shit. You know I do. And this timing, did you pass a flash drive to your beloved big cojones during a meeting as a sign of goodwill? Look, I get why you're upset, but why don't we just talk this through calmly? Alright, no, these are all just the same line. Same meaning. Alright, sorry for no, fuck you. Fury takes to a will, and I'm just here along for a ride. I can't do anything about it. In a strange way, I realizing you're just a passenger in your own body feels liberating. Like, let's just see it all unfold. Calmly. Fuck you, Brian. Julie. I've been paranoid for months and months, acting like everyone I didn't know was an assassin or corporate spy. I know I haven't messed up. Not in a way that would have impersonated all of them. You goddamn, you thought you could get away with this. I haven't done anything improper. Don't push the blame on me. So what you're claiming, it's my fault. Because you never the guilty one. It's a waste of bosses, the economy, the obligations you have, and now me. You're being silly. Quit with this Mara bullshit. Calm down or I'll have to. You're a moral shithole. You motherfucking calm down for God's sake. And so it goes. I yell out all the words I wanted to say for a long time but held back. I fling a lot of insults I've been workshopping for years, hoping that I'd never use them. I break a few things. At times, for a split second, I see piety in somebody's eyes. It's gonna haunt me for a long time. But in the heat of the moment, I don't care. These people, no, this company, has nothing left to offer me, so at least let me take care of this catharsis. In the end, a security guard has escorted me out of the building, and that's the end of my journalistic career. I feel like my world's crumbled to nothing. So I'll say this, for writing, Julie has way more character. She has way more character, and I think it partly becomes to, because the writing team of this one, instead of having to deal with 3 characters possibly going through things and having minor changes to save writing time, they could focus purely on one character. We get a lot of internal thoughts. You do need to play Koizumi to get some of, like, you know, what is it called? Sorry for the yawn. For like Devil Spiral and stuff. But Julie is way more realized character, which is good. She's way more. If you know about La Sombra, you would recognize what this is. La Sombra have a very interesting embracing method where they break someone down and then then see how they react, and if they go through it without clearly breaking or failing, they have the stuff to be for La Sombra. I just feel like my world has been crumbling into nothing. I mean, you have every right to. Like, Jesus, if I were you, I would have already broken down into a sobbing mess. I'd love to, but I'm on a subway, far too proud to cry in public even now, and it's stupid. But I feel like there's someone out there that keeps destroying everything I hold dear, just to see my reaction. Like it was a prank show and someone was waiting to record me crying. Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. So, out of sheer spite, I'm gonna do my best not to cry. Fuck you, whoever you are and wherever you are. That's the most Julie Sozinski thing I've heard. Spite is the greatest motivator, huh? Not feeling particularly motivated to do anything right now. To be honest, I just want to stay in my bed until my shithead landlord calls the cops to forcefully evicts me. Not surprised. Shit, I know whenever life decides to fuck you over, it's always one thing after another, but this is too much. How much is too much? Let's recap this week of June 2019. I'm pretty sure the first game takes place in 2018 as well. Maybe, I'd have to remember. I've been kicked out of my job. Well, not that I've ever been hired. So let's say my mentor broke every vague promise he ever made to me. A big thing I've been working on for a year and a half went down the toilet. It's all useless. My boss didn't protect my sources properly, and now they all kept trying to reach me for every possible channel to threaten me or just yell at me. And they have every right to react like that. All of my side gigs were shut down. Nobody's replying to my emails. Somebody's been dragging my name through the mud behind the scenes, and it worked. I still have no idea who's sending these shitty messages around. I've been asking, but listen, don't worry about it. I'm not going to stand idly by and watch you get cancelled by some mean-spirited delusional. I said don't worry about it. I have 3 unread messages from my landlord. The message previews were stressful enough. A call came from Chicago. Apparently my dad has bladder cancer. My mum is in hysterics. She's gone crazy. She'd go crazy if she heard about my situation, so I had to pretend everything's okay whenever she calls. And she calls every day. And she just won't hang up before she offloads all her burdens onto me. And I can't blame her because all we have to learn to cope with Dad's psychopathic tendencies somehow. I was robbed. All my documents and the little money I had gone. Don't even know when or where it happened. And it's driving me crazy because I'm always extremely wary of pickpockets. The list goes on. I want to sound paranoid, but it feels like a concentrated attack. Paranoid is good. Anyway, I know you handwave this topic away, but just remember, if there's anything that happens, my place is your place. You don't have to go through it alone. I do. I have been a trouble magnet, and self-centered as I may be, I don't want to affect you. I know. Listen, I have another call. All right, just call me if anything happens. No matter how dumb it seems. Okay, I'll swing by whenever you can. I will. Thank you. See you. I put my phone away and stared blankly in the front of me. Christ. I glanced at my reflection in the window. Just looked at this idiot. Whatever situation requires me to dress formally, I still feel a bit like a child cosplaying as an adult. Should I have just followed the dress for the job you want advice and concentrate on dressing up like a trust-fund kid who keeps pieing on Brooklyn rooftops for years without a care in the world? It's only after I realize the car is empty, and naturally so, I start feeling uneasy. But someone enters in my peripheral vision. Question mark, question mark, question mark. And that's the last thing I consciously register. The world dissolves. When I come to out of the subway, staring in a blank alley I don't recognize. It's pretty dark. My eyes starting to adjust, and I try to figure out what happened. There's a gun in my hand. A faint silhouette at my feet. It's not moving. Somebody stands in front of me, covered in shadows. I can't make a face out. But she's staring at me with invisible intent. She speaks. Her voice is raspy, androgynous. Her tone hateful and mocking. Aren't you a nasty one? What's going on? Who are you? Don't play coy. My mind goes blank. I look over the ground as a body riddled with bullet holes, and I recognize who it was. The corpse belongs to Mike Antonoff, one of the double spiral whistleblowers, my source, who was just threatening to get back at me a few hours ago. Before I can even feel the tiniest bit of compassion, I face a terrible realization. They will think I'm guilty. Oh my god, am I guilty? How is this real? It wasn't me. I don't know what's going on. Listen, I was just riding the subway. Again, don't play coy. You knew him. He was mad at you. You started telling him sob stories about your situation. He wasn't having none of it. You got mad. Things escalated. He died. This isn't true. This isn't plausible. That doesn't make it... But that isn't true. It's plausible. That doesn't make it true. Or does it? This is just a nightmare. It doesn't make any sense. It must be a dream. And if it isn't, the person in front of you must be responsible. There's a faint voice in your head screaming that it's her world, that I'm just living it. What the fuck have you done to me? Nothing yet, but what I can do to get you locked up for life. But I'll do what I can to get you locked up for life. This is murder, or in the first degree with special circumstances. Her detached voice is nonsensical. Tone only reassures me that it can't be real. I refuse to believe it. Before I can even manage to think it through, I point the gun at her. If I did murder him, you won't be acting like this. You wouldn't be standing in front of me. You'd be running away, calling the police, begging for help, yelling that I'm the psycho. Oh, you are a psycho, but I'm not a coward. I won't let you walk out here alive. That doesn't make a single lick of sense. Tears well up in my eyes. Why are you doing this? Because sometimes one has to confront what they're really made of. There's no two ways about it. She's gotta be nuts. Slowly but surely, she starts walking towards me. Stop right there or I'll shoot. Go on. It's the only way you can get off the hook, isn't it? The only way you can survive. But you will definitely prove you are the monster I claim you are. What the fuck is with her tone? So controlling, inauthentic, patronizing. I'm serious. For your own sakes, you better be. She keeps getting closer. Maybe I did kill Antoine. Maybe I don't deserve to live. Maybe it's less tiring to live. Maybe I should just let her take care of me. Maybe I'll just wake up. Or maybe the insane reality just needs to be rejected as violently as possible. Maybe a world that wants to destroy me deserves to be destroyed. She's right in front of me. It's now or never. We're gonna shoot her. I close my eyes and squeeze the trigger. A loud bang echoes through the alley. ... I'm afraid to look at what I've done. I've been at shooting range once and felt absolutely horrified by a pistol. Such a small thing, but it's clearly punctured a hole in the fabric of reality it is made of. I never knew I'd be able to use it against another human being. The very thought makes me want to puke. You were the right choice after all. I'm so glad. You haven't allowed yourself to break, but you've crossed the line I needed you to cross. There's a silent flame in you that will come in inferno if left unchecked. I sure hope it will. She's alive. Her voice is coming from behind me. She puts her hands around my wrists. I hear her, and her cold mouth touches my neck. I feel my shirt getting violently torn off. I don't understand. I'm too dazed to protest. That was your final test. Congratulations, you have proven yourself worthy. I love that, like, the art is more animated in this and we see our character. Again, it's very... Focusing on one character has allowed it to do this. As we give a stretch. I feel something sharp slide into my neck. It's not painful, it's just startling. Think a doctor pushing a needle into your vein without a proper warning. Then it hits me. Pure bliss. The dopamine receptors I've considered completely fried until now suddenly recover and bombard me with pleasure I'd never known before. I finally let the tears go. They come flooding. They've been waiting for years. It's such relief. Is it raining? I feel like I'm in the middle of a deluge, at least. Washing away all my fears, all my sorrows, all of my anger, all of my pain, all of my ego. I become one with the world. I and the woman behind me. She holds onto me tight, making me feel like the only important thing in the world. Everything else blurs. I feel something intense towards her. Something I've never felt before. Is this love? I hope it is. This is not you. This is a familiar, cynical voice in the back of my head. But it's okay. I've never felt particularly fond of me anyway. New York, you're perfect. Oh, please don't change a thing. He who laughs in the shadows always has last the laugh. Hallelujah, praise be. Everything is cliche, nothing is. Isn't that the ever-distant utopia I've been chasing all along? People on the other trains, I hope they're doing fine. God, shut up, just enjoy it. You finally understand. She's making love to me. She's giving birth to me. She's burying me. I'm pretty sure I'm dead for a while. I'm pretty sure I could stare at my own corpse in the hands of a distance for a few moments somehow. And then, I'm alive again. She lifts her mouth from my neck. No, wait, I taste blood in my mouth. Was I drinking her blood too? I realize that whatever this was, it's over. I have to bask in the afterglow while I still can. I also amazingly understand that I'm going to chase this fleeting feeling for the rest of my existence. Finally, she lets out a whisper that concludes the ceremony. No matter what happens next, don't forget, you are a monster. But we're lucky enough to be born from a world of monsters, so don't you ever mourn that fact. Embrace it. Oh, that was a strong intro. That is a good intro. I'm gonna take a drink. Very good introduction to La Sombra. Even if It does a thing of that is a good one. That is a good intro. The writing was good. Julie has a lot of character. The embrace fits within the genre law of how they choose their embraces, and you get to play through it. You get to choose whether you shoot or not, which I think is the most important choice of that section. I don't know if you would die if you don't shoot, but I don't think the story makes much sense if you don't shoot. Once again, I find myself a big meat burger. Familiar surroundings, faces I recognize, moods same as it ever was. Still, I process it intensely a different way. It all frustrates me now. More precisely, it makes me frustrated myself. It's like I'm clinging to the remnants of a cocoon I've outgrown. Ugh. It's the same with these cigarettes. I don't need them anymore, so why do I keep holding on to them? Fucking hell. It's like I refuse to accept that I'm somehow better than I used to be. A vampire. Just 2 nights ago, I met Karen. She embraced me, by which I mean she turned me into a kindred. She calls herself my sire and me her child. Last night she taught me the basics of survival. Drinking blood, manipulating humans, bleeding, bending steel, controlling shadows. Tonight, I expect more lessons. Instead, she told me to go out and enjoy myself. What's the catch? What's the catch, I asked. To which she responded, I might kill you if you prove to be a disappointment. There are a few rules. I have to uphold Masquerade. I can't contact anyone I knew as a human. I can't let anyone realize I'm not human anymore. I can't embrace anyone, and so on and so on. Otherwise, I'm free to do whatever I want. For some reason, the first thing I did was come back here. Old habits die hard. Karen probably is watching me from somewhere, even now. The way I understand it, tomorrow night she's supposed to introduce me to the Camarilla, a local society of vampires. Turns out they're the ones who've been systemically ruining my life. All a part of some secret evaluation that I barely passed. Just imagine the reach they had makes me dizzy. After they destroyed the old me, I barely cared about. Karen rebuilt me anew. On one hand, her test left me scars. That's some scars that will take time to heal. On the other hand, maybe I should just be grateful. I'm snapped out of thoughts by a sudden scream. Some douchebag is yelling about his french fries not being salty enough. I think this is my cue to leave, permanently. Goodbye, BBB. Hope I never see you again. I'm destined for greater things, you see? Oh, we have choices. The risks of swiping right. Game. Hang on. Hang on. I'm googling something. Okay, so World of Darkness is all connected. I'm not going to get into like old Tully's not being mentioned. I don't always do that in my tabletop games. I sometimes just have McDonald's. It's fine. We all do that. It's hard to remember all the interconnected things. But like, for that announcement for Bloodlines 2 had an AIG with Tinder, and which is obviously a ripped off thing of Tinder. Please just use Tinder. It works better, keeps the world connected, and keeps V5 steaming right its own world. Okay, so we got the risk of swiping right. This Tinder addict smells a bit of the loser. I want to be intellectual and a perfect source of nourishment. It's time to swing a little more on the devil's dance floor, but the club beckons. In me head bully and his unfortunate victim. I probably shouldn't interfere, but what's better chance to test what I've become? Oh, what do we do? What do we do? We don't really see who's in Dance Macabre, which is a bit weird, but I also like a purple theme. Purple's my favorite color. I think I'm gonna go with Retribution Justice, just because it's a fun thing to do. Two men are facing each other in a dark back alley. One of them stands with his back against the wall, his chest heaving as he struggles to catch his breath. People! People! Anybody out there? I'm being robbed! A rugged guy is yelling at a metal staircase with a theatrical instant in his voice. With a lively step, he dances around the older man, who's having trouble finding his footing. What is this? What is this bullshit? Oh, so you can talk. Good, because I'm dying to hear what you did with my wallet, Holmes. Wallet? I have no idea what you're talking about. The goon starts prancing around like a Muay Thai boxer. He smiles, but his eyes sends a clear message. You're cornered, buddy. Don't even try and put a fast one on me. Come on, homeboy. You've been able to trick an average Joe on the street with your act, but a fighter recognizes a fighter. It's an animal thing. It's an instinct thing. You got some moves on you. You're like shit. You're like a black mamba, fast as lightning fast reflexes. He starts shadowboxing from him. The man's definitely got energy to spare. However, I'm a king cobra. You made your match. Two apex predators now locked in battle. Oh, you're seeing snakes. That would explain something. Before he's able to finish, his soccer punch knocks the air out of his lungs. The old man slides down the wall before he can let out a groan. He's interrupted by a brutal kick to the chest. That's what I'm talking about. Fighting spirit, even when you're cornered. Weird fact about White Wolf. Since this is a Street Fight, they actually made the Street Fighter RP tabletop game. I run that tabletop game for my group. It's very fun. And it still has a homebrewing community going as well. It's a really cool community. I'm always shocked about like these old tabletop games who still have communities going, even if they haven't had additions in ages. They still do fan up. They still do homebrew fan content. I look at Warrior Fist for advice and get choose different things from it. We're using specifically the Sub Lightning, the Demon Hybrid, and some stuff from the Darkstalkers book. We're using a bunch. Sorry. Take a seat. Deep breaths. Collect your thoughts before you speak again. Remember where you put my wallet now? I'm pretty sure you broke my rib. An eye for an eye, a rib for a ribbing. Biblical punishment. It's only fair, homie. Fair? At least admit that this is a mugging. Wallet my ass. Still in denial. Okay. Let's say I had about $5,000 in there. Give me $6,000 and I'll walk away. Relatively unharmed. So you admit it. Admit what? This is not about proper compensation. This is about robbery. Look, buddy, this is beginning to bore me. Unless you want me to go Anderson Sliver on your ass, Silver on your ass, give me what I want. Anderson Sliver? Yeah, Anderson Sliver. The flying knee meaning your solar pretext. The man's a myth, the legend. The man, the myth, the legends. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Thai boxing, Western boxing, Taekwondo, Wing Chun, and Capoeira combined into a single fighting style that only is described as straight-up murder. I know, because if I'm really sure if I know all about, I'm not a martial artist. I've never done martial arts, but I've watched martial arts anime and stuff, and it's a relative topic that I'm sort of bordering on interested in. I know, mainly from fighting game animations is how I learned about a lot of stuff. I've been studying the glorious similarity that is Anderson Salva for years. Every move I have, I owe to him. So if you don't want this snake to turn into a deadly spider, now show me the money, honey. Summer 2013, Las Vegas. Huh? Watched it live, on pay-to-view. Weird man saw through all Silver's tricks, whooped his ass, broke his spirit, showed him a fraud he was. The man hasn't been the same ever since. All the empty showboating, hollow taunting, drunk in his own Kool-Aid. Jesus, of course you idolize him, asshole. For a good minute, the goon silently looks down at the whimpering man at his feet, chewing on his lower lip. Then he finally speaks up. The voice betrays an intent to kill. You know what, homeboy? Screw the money. This is a matter of honor now. My thoughts exactly. He raises his fist. We got ourselves a mixed martial art expert here, huh? For your own sake, I hope you can come back. For your own sake, I hope you can back that talk up with some self-defense skills, homie. This is pathetic. Boosting yourself seen by beating up an injured old geezer? God damn, you're pathetic. He jumps at my voice, turns my way in a blink of an eye, immediately assumes combative stance. His reflexes are sharp. He looks at least this much to back up his bravado. Wannabe Anderson Silva face betrays his utter confusion upon seeing me. He's got no idea how I managed to sneak up on him. I don't blame him. I wouldn't be able to explain it myself. I felt like I'd become one with the darkness, my pure consciousness traversing a dusky dreamscape, jumping from one shadow to another, as if they were different trains of thoughts. I think of some experiences I've had with psychedelics. Every blink an adventure, and now I'm outside this alley. Blink. I was above this alley. Blink. Now I'm in front of this guy. And he pissed me off. The older man thumbs down, looking like he was trying his best to keep it together, and he gave up once the cavalry arrived. Sorry. The goon regains his composure and barks at me in an overly gruff way. Anyway, the hell you sneaking around for, Chica? Move along before this is between men. Not anymore. His fist rushes towards me. I'm serious. I'm an equal opportunity ass kicker. I respond to the threat with my brightest, most innocent, virginal smile I can put on. Weird description there, but alright, it's white wolf stuff. So you're into shadowboxing, huh? Something comes over me. I feel darkness embracing me, whispering sweet nothings in my ear, pumping me forward to what I've come. Crane kick, sure, why not? Cool, but have you ever watched The Karate Kid? Before he manages to respond, my foot meets his chin. The move is absolutely impractical, but I managed to pack so much strength into it that the guy's body reacts as if it had just been received a powerful uppercut. I know what he's thinking. I should have blocked it, and he was absolutely should have. But instead, he just flailed his arms helplessly as he suddenly found himself in front of an oncoming train. A primal expression of fear suddenly and completely took him over. I don't know how I look right now, but judging by his expression, my best case is a glimpsing more of a primordial beast. I follow up a surprise attack with another punch to solar plexus, or at least my nearest estimate. Once again, therefore, it terrifies me. Myself. Looks at him hunched over and correct, and I hit the right spot. He falls to the floor, whining like a wounded animal, tears streaming down his face. I let him collect himself a bit and grab him by his chin. Learn to choose your battles, homeboy. Let me go, for Christ's sake, just let me go. I kick him in the direction of Valley Interest. He staggers off, disappearing from my sight. I check on his victim like, looks like he's conscious. Wow, you whooped his ass, girl. But he hadn't noticed anything out of order. Good. I was getting worried I might have overdone it. But that woman did say to keep a low profile would be crucial if I wanted to survive. You alright? You need help? He manages to stand up. His smile is strained, but he suggests he's fine, or at least he's trying his best to seem fine. No, you gave me all the help I needed, and some thank you. Miss, what's your name? Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. I was worried for a second, but this Astro's bark was worse than his bite. He's probably in worse shape than me now. I guess that counts as a victory. I'd better be going. My wife probably is worried sick. But before that, if there's anything I could do to repay you. Just be more careful. Forget about it. Just be a little more careful in the future, alright? A true heroine always refuses compensation for her help. At least that's how I think things should go. Never thought I'd be helping someone in a street fight. You're something else, Jessica. You never want to try your skills in the octagon? Too much in love with my gorgeous face to see it bruised and battered and swollen, sorry. I hear you. Whatever you do next, God bless you. And there he goes. Gone, huh? I feel like you feel like one now. No more worrying about being out after midnight. No more feeling uneasy whenever I spot a shady asshole across the street, ever. Hell, I could start jogging in Central Park after midnight now. Not that I needed to. The future looks bright. Just a tip for vampires? Don't go jogging in Central Park after midnight. That's how you get killed by a werewolf. Because you're in werewolf territory there, and they don't look brightly upon vampires. Oh wow, we have two. Okay, yeah, because I don't like it's getting straight into the gameplay. Also, I'm aware if any long-term vampire fans have just seen that, I did just directly go for the superhero fangs. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say with that. That was literally just superhero fangs moment. Not saying that's a bad context for you know, vampire. I usually play some more high humanity characters personally, because if I play a monster, there's a certain thing I get very queasy about what I play. I love vampire, love his dark saying. I can be very I can be brought down fairly easily about a game, on actions I have to do in it. This is why I will probably never play a child that has color poker and Scion. I can't handle stuff like that very well. So, but I can handle angst. I can handle angst very well. I can handle a certain type of angst very well. So usually my characters are just loaded up with a bunch of angst. Trying to swing a little more. Yeah, sure, we'll go to the club after this. This club reeks of death, and I love it. I've been here quite a few times, but I've never seen anything breathtaking. Everyone around me is whacked out of their minds, and as they keep dancing madly, the spirits dance inside them. Spectral silhouettes phase in and out of existence, becoming more visible, but more intense as music grows. It's like a bizarre ritual, a profound mass. I notice its voice sample, the ghost reacts to the strongest. The most suggestive ones cause them to appear disoriented, even tormented. Oh, we're seeing ghosts because we have Oblivion. Okay, yeah. ... As if something was struggling to be born out of the harsh sound, and the dead were hoping to be reborn alongside it. They're all uneasy, quivering with desire for something far beyond their reach. Probably the same thing as they were when they were alive. They're feeding on the passion, probably. If we haven't learned a lot about Wraiths in 5th edition, their book hasn't come out yet. So much like how games before the announcement of W5 worked under the assumption of the Get being a thing, and other tribes, like all the tribes being named the same thing, I'm gonna work under the assumption that Wraith is unchanged. I will say one thing about that. Sorry, one thing about that. I do like they just admitted that, like, hey, was it was just getting rebooted. That would have helped a lot with V5's reception, in my opinion. And I love some of the elements. The rename of Wendigo and the Utana, great choice there. They're all unnecessary. I mean, the Utana got changed a little less. It just got name changed as far as we're aware. But it looks like the Wendigo got like a new spirit and a new name. Much better. Galestalker's way better name. Anyway, they're all uneasy, quivering with the desire for something far beyond their reality. Okay, they're looking for passion, because passion is their, like, human. They feed on human passion and emotions. Sometimes they're living down to spot their dead counterparts. It's unusual for manic ones who notice something out of the corner of their eye, only for a split second, but never realize what they glimpsed. Some apparitions dance to a completely different tune than the rest of the ones. Only they can hear, and those seem the saddest. The spectacle is eerie. At the time, it's unbearably melancholic. Above all, it's beautiful. I keep moving on the rhythm until I reach a trance-like state, and then something even stranger happens. Every now and then, I brush against someone. A figuratively vision appears before my eyes. A car burning on a freeway. An outstretched hand in the depths of the sea. A man that's a really bad way to die in Oblivion. The sea is like an actual, like, physical hard thing. Water is just physical in the, like, solid in Shadowlands. A man jumped from a skyscraper window. Memories of the past, reverberating visions of the future. I have no idea what it means, but I'm staring eagerly in to find out. And then there's the answers like ones that aren't ghosts, humans, or even vampires, but something else altogether. The world is full of mysteries, and I plan to get to the bottom of them. But for now, I just want to dance. What? Hang on. Excuse me, what? I'm tracking that person down. If you say she's not a vampire or a ghost, I'm like, wait, what? Sorry, don't pique my interest in the Great World of Darkness game. That's the worst thing you can do. Is she a Ronin? Anyway. In the palm of your hand. Is this a Pentex advert? Are these like, I doubt these have any great things. This is where you put Easter eggs, I feel. Anyway. Wow. One night. I catch Times Square from above. It's beautiful. Never thought this place could make me feel emotional, to be honest. But here I am, feeling deeply moved. Who would have thought? Getting up here was surprisingly easy, all things considered. Took more thought than physical effort. Earlier tonight, I started to experiment with this body's limits. I realized I could jump over small buildings and climb street walls with ease now. My whole perception of space has shifted. I planned a serenic route across the rooftops. I did my best to avoid attracting attention, just as I told. Stayed in the shadows as much as humanly possible. I spotted a drone from far away. For a second I felt uneasy, but I remembered what she told me. Machines won't get a clear view of me anymore. Camera footage photos, it's all glitched out and blurry. Wouldn't take it for granted if I didn't catch my reflection earlier on. I couldn't see my face clearly. Not even in mirrors, not even in a puddle. My face felt like one of those Dali clocks. She told me to keep a low profile, regardless. Someone might take a notice and track you down. She didn't care to elaborate, but it didn't sound encouraging. Suddenly it hit me that I might never be able to see my own face again. I won't even be able to take care of my looks by myself. And what about a long-term psychological effect? A knot of anxiety tightens in my stomach. Jesus, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg. What else is going to change? Calm down. Wait a second. The past few nights have been the best of my life. For years, I had been on a downward spiral, failing health, no future, feeling overwhelmed and powerless. Now everything's been flipped upside down. A total paradigm shift. A bad ending is no longer the only option. I'm actually looking forward to tomorrow. I forgot how that feels. Whatever use is to stand by mere seconds to midnight, the midnight clock, the doomsday clock has been effectively turned off. A cold breeze brushes my cheek. As stupid as it sounds, I choose to read it as a word telling me to chin up. I can bend anyone to my will. I'm capable of superhuman strength and I'm a master of shadows. I can do anything. Tomorrow night, I'll be introduced to my duties. If everything goes according to plan, I will become a New York City representation of Clan the Sombra. Whoever they are, whatever that means, I have no idea what to expect. But tonight, I'm free. My worries from a month ago feel like they belong to someone else. Finally, things are looking up. Shadows of New York. Okay, 2 intros. A little much in my opinion. Can't lie. Not gonna lie, not a fan of 2 intros, but like that was a good little bit. I do think the 2 segments I chose were fairly good. I don't remember the ones I chose my first time I played this game. Can't lie. Just gotta take a drink quickly. Cleansing my throat. March 2020. Back here again at Big B Burger. Sounds familiar. Smells familiar. Smell familiar faces. Yeah, again, I'm recycling the night where everything finally seemed to change for the better. I mean, it's not like I was expecting everything to go back to the old, depressing normal. Even in the thick of the rational part of me, I recognized my state was temporary. But with the highs, there is hope it won't end. Or maybe that an ego death will finally occur. Be satisfied, you stupid fucking bitch. I command you. Here's all the logical evidence for why you should be satisfied. Here's an obvious direction of your life, and here's a detailed explanation of how you should treat the people that care for you. No dice. I always fall back into the same old habits. It's like they were encoded deep into my DNA. The aimlessness, the powerlessness, the spiritual exhaustion, the goddamn fast food trips. The stupid fucking self-loathing now amplified by whenever I drink someone's blood. Maybe I should just blame it all on the misfortune of my birth. You don't guess you do this social climbing until you disassociate, and then you are just untethered, constantly frustrated by the ball of dumb desires. Except I'm sort of immortal right now, and I need to figure out what to do next. Oh, this is great angst. This is just angst. I watched an obscure Asian movie called Ili Lamana Sabat Ili Lima Sabachatani. I'm not pronouncing that. Sabachatani. I've got that. Sorry, I've just mispronounced. My Japanese is pretty poor, but I've done it a lot. I went to Japan for lessons on it, and I remember you can break it down into like, you can break it down fairly well, but I'm just not getting on. Starring Tarubo Asano, and one of the coolest guys in the world. He plays Mozubo, like a figure, a legendary noise musician. There's a mystery virus spreading around the world, causing despair and mass suicide. A rich CEO's granddaughter gets sick and longs to die, so he spends a fortune searching for a cure. Turns out Asano and his friends, played by violent Osen geisha guy, are traveling through Japan, searching for the corpse in towns, fields, for any unique items so they can produce beautiful sounds. As it turns out, the avant-garde wall of noise they create are able to heal the infected. The CEO begs the band to help, offering them all the money they could ever want. For some reason, they refuse. There were a series of flashback concerts and vignettes, a mystery unfolds. Eventually, we realize Asano's music is not just a remedy, it's also the cause of the virus. Whenever it connects with people, they get hungry for more extreme, more novel experiences, and eventually they hit a wall. Nothing can satisfy them anymore. They lose their will to live. Not even the musicians are spread from this curse. They know the end will come sooner or later. The girl is saved by a mind-blowing concert, but the tragedy is merely postponed, not averted. The last shot of a Jesus-like Asano, silently considering his role as savior and destroyer, stayed with me. The form of the film is abrasive, little to no narrative cohesion, some weird cartoonish creative choices, the Japanese noise soundtrack, the free-formed and hard to understand waves of themes. But at this point, movies like this are all that truly connect with me. I'm a New York City representation of the La Sombra clan now, also known as the Night Clan. They're masters of shadow who cast distorted reflections and make modern tech go haywire in their presence. Last year, a few months before I was embraced, the La Sombra had joined the Camarilla, the biggest and most traditional sect of vampires in the world. The two groups had actually been fighting each other, but our leaders found some intel that made them reconsider their strategy, so they sent a diplomatic mission to parley with their historical enemies. The deal they got in Chicago was simple: an unlife for an unlife. For every La Sombra allowed in the ivory tower, one La Sombra vampire must meet their ultimate end. I still remember the name of the woman who met her final death so I could be brought into unlife. Her name was Hester Reed, a sworn enemy of the Camarilla, a guerrilla fighter who spent decades opposing them. So she was somehow far better principled than mine. From what I gathered, well, whoever she was, her execution by my sire served to convince the NYC elites to give me a La Sombra a chance. Then they set out looking for a mutually agreed upon candidate who become the clan's rep in the city. My sire searched for someone to give the impression that she was more than she appeared. The local court was looking for someone they could walk all over. Long after negotiations, they decided I was a good compromise. They proceeded by systemically destroying my entire life, just to show I was psychologically strong enough to join their ranks. The Turncoat Special, they called it. Somehow, I succeeded, and it eventually led me right back where I started. I stopped writing and put my pen down. Will that be all? Valerie. She looks a bit like Sophie. Though I could be wrong. Yes, Miss Duval. I hope you enjoy your stay in London. I very much doubt I will. Just like every cultured person, I think the only good Englishman is a dead Englishman. Just get the hell out of here. Not interested in small talk with someone as psychopathic as her. I finish for formalities in silence. Will that be all? Tell Kadai say hello and farewell. Safe travels. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, psycho. Ah, well. Let me see. Let me see if that's a character. Sorry, I don't know why I'm looking at this connection, because I feel like I should remember this character, or they just throw away Shadows of New York. God, there's a ticking of a clock game. That's pretty atmospheric. Oh, okay. So she shows her. She's a scourge. Oh, that's interesting. Sorry, I just found out. I'm just looking through these names. Anyway, sorry. Don't let the door hit you on your way out, psycho. Oh well. I'm the lone somber in the town, and my representation role means jack shit. No titles, no perks, no whatever. Right now, I'm the court's gopher, doing all sort of work nobody else will touch. My main duty is being sort of an immigration officer. See, New York City is probably the biggest vampire travel hub in the USA, and definitely the biggest one in the East Coast. Almost every kindred arrives from Africa and Europe comes through here. The local camera is nuts about bureaucracy and population control, so every vampire leaving or arriving in this town is supposed to check in with me to inform them about their travels. Well, in theory at least, VIPs play by different rules. They take care of their stuff through connections and servants. But for the smaller fish, like vampire statues, I'm a vampire statue of liberty. The first bloodsucker every kindred coming to NYC should see. On paper, anyways. The first after the Prince, or Kadar, the Primogen Council. These things vary. Yeah, I'm a naturally tenacious Lasombra, so they still prefer being traditional and hands-on about these things. As I said, at the end of the day, I'm just a gopher, and this work only serves to remind me I'm not quite in, just standing at the gate. They haven't even given me an office. I just meet everyone in public places, such as coffee shops or fast food restaurants. Some consider this an insult and lash out at me, but lucky most of them understand that we're in the same boat. Only here because we're curs who need to be reminded of our place from time to time. Speaking of where, my last client is 15 minutes late, and I still have more errands to run tonight. This is getting irritating. To be honest, I should just find some self-respect and leave. But I won't. I'm sorry, my sorry upbringing left me with this stupid sense of responsibility. 10 minutes pass. Eventually, an unfamiliar woman appears by the door. She tells someone to stand by the door and walks in. Ah, there's a familiar face. Electrica, I think, whatever her name is. Long chestnut hair. Okay, let me see. Oh, apparently it's still coming up. Okay, cool. Apparently she doesn't appear on the list. Characters despite being here, but him, whatever. Anyway, what? Anyway. God, sorry. Back to the game. I got distracted. Long chestnut hair, body stuck in the late teens. By the look of it, a fashionable scarf covering most of her face. Elegant clothes, dignified walk. I signal her to sit in front of me, trying her best not to let my impressions show. She obliges. Let's just get on with it. No time for pleasantries. Name's Julie Sawowski. I hope you won't mind me if I make this quick. I'm needed in Elysium. Name? Catherine Weiss. Catherine Weiss? I swear I could have heard that name before. Someone's description of her crosses my mind. Weird old lady at the hole, but it's never there. Weird. Wait, did she change her name through decades? That wouldn't be surprising. But like, hang on, and then Catherine Weiss to show up. She's Bruja. Yo, yeah, no, it's a Centrica. Okay, cool. Cool. It is her. She's meant to be visually 16. Wow, the game did not... Redemption did not make her look that. Okay. See vertical on Redemption Wiki. Yep, no, this is a Centrica. Cool. Sorry, it is her. She just got a name. So it is her. Catherine Weiss, owner of Varhol, deactive headquarters of the New York City Camarilla. For fuck's sake, Jula. What are you doing calling her weird right off the bat? God knows you've already made a fool of yourself in front of the VIPs in the city. Recover. I'm sorry, it's just that I still don't know many people out there, so I have to go by descriptions I'm giving by members of the Primogen. Well, the description is mostly correct, outside of the one that one word that slightly perplexes me. Paul calling the pale black, it sounds like. I cannot do her voice. I am sorry. Oh, from what I gathered, it's just that your interests are rumored to be not fully aligned with the Camarillas, and it irks some folks up here. Being a keeper of Elysium is not enough for some. I see. I suspected as much, but what can you do? She seems chill. Good. Anyway, Catherine Weiss. Wow. Yes, when we spell it, people often have trouble getting it right. Forgive my indiscretion. It's just, people of your stature usually don't bother coming checking with me. They usually report their arrivals to one of the Primogen, and they make all of the arrangements. I heard Prince Penhard is busy with preparations for her big party. I assume that if I spare her some paperwork, she'd appreciate the gesture of goodwill. Besides, I wanted to meet the infamous La Sombra representative out of sheer curiosity. My interest peaked once I heard about her. She looks around knowingly. Unique circumstances. Yes, Prince Helena Penhard had trouble justifying the exorbitant rent of my property would need. That's literal pennies for her, and as far as I know, she's been sitting on empty property since last year. Looks likely looks likely they've got it out for you. Bad. That's what I assumed, but it's nice to get confirmation. Well, it's not like my clan has ever been particularly popular in these parts. At least that's what I've heard, sons of fathers and so on. Yes. Just to make sure we've never met Hestia, but you know of her. I do know I wouldn't be here if not for her. Have you two met? No, I only heard her once or twice. We had similar outlooks on many issues, though we tended to come up with completely different solutions. In any case, it's meaningful that Hestia died so that you could live. They feared her. Now they fear you. And that's why they're keeping you down. If anyone who's not a VIP said this to me, I'd laugh in their face. Oh, I get what she's doing. She's trying to buy my favors. Best not act like I'm easy to please. Stick to business. Time will tell. In the meantime, I'll need to help you out with my own documentation. Of course. So, where are you coming from? Washington, D.C. She says it in the way people from Hollywood movies say it. The way that suggests Washington is wildly different from Washington you and I would see. What were you doing there? Take a guess. Government work? Write that down? I ought to amuse Helena for a bit? If you say so, date and hour of arrival. She takes a plane ticket out and slides it towards me. It's all here. 1 a.m. Got it. Method of transport plane. Purpose of visit. Meeting with Prince will work for fine. I guess. Estimate duration of visit? Indefinite. Right in 6 months if you really need to. Place of accommodations? Condition of interest? Conditions of extended stay? Varhol. Conditions should be adequate. You tell me. I tend to be happy with Airbnb. Home sweet home. I'm not certain I'll ever feel particularly home here. That makes two of us. Curious, do you have nothing holding you here? The face of the blonde-haired friend appears in my mind's eye, then vanishes. There's nothing holding me anywhere. I see. A prolonged silence stares into my eyes and I return her stare. She's studying me. It's unnerving, but I do my best to not turn away. Eventually, she smiles. Didn't you say you were short on time? Oh god, yes, Kodar's gonna kill me. I quickly begin to collect my stuff from underneath the table. You can simply inform him I paid you a visit. He'll understand, and he'll pass it on to everyone who should be in the know. Need anything else? Do you need anything? We'll go. Do you need anything else? I'll be fine. I was about to ask you that myself. You're the one who's questioning here. Asking questions here. That's all from me. Good. We will see each other soon. I hope the pie tomorrow, right? I wasn't invited. She gives me a pitiful look. I understand. Well, if not given the opportunity, we should make our own. I'll be in touch. Good night, Miss Weiss. I wish you a pleasant stay. Good night, and don't rush things. You've got your whole on life ahead of you, and in a position where you can take it easy. Take your time, get a different perspective. I nod and walk out the door. When I lose sight of the restaurant, I sprint towards the subway. Slow night. I wish. You're late again, by the way. I hope you have a good excuse. Qadar al-Asim, the mighty sheriff of New York, is not happy with me. No wonder. I met him in front of the Elysium 30 minutes later than the time we had agreed on. Yeah, well, Catherine fucking Weiss decided to arrive fashionably late. A likely story? She's supposed to be out of the city. If you think I'm pulling your leg, boss, feel free to check my report. I pass him the official papers, the way I do every other night. Qadar stares down for a few good seconds and steals his glaze softens. You're serious? Weiss in McDonald's. The mask and the elegant clothes surrounded by the smell of french fries and hamburger pies. That must have been one hell of a sight. Technically it was a BBB and not McDonald's, but yeah, good. God, I made such a fool of myself. First thing I did, I quoted someone calling her a weirdo. I wanted to die on the spot. Serves you right. You're a walking folk pa. I've been trying to teach you to control your tongue, but you've never learned. It's a new graph every week with you. Still, there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is Catherine is fondness for vampires of humble beginnings. Probably why she decided to see you in your, shall we say, natural habitat. She's one of those rich artsy assholes who seek out working class cred. I did say something about watching your tongue. The bad news is she's very astute. Sorry, my brain just was blanking on that word. Astute. So she can recognize a moron like you straight away. You never stood a chance at impressing her. Oh, shut up. You still need me for you. Nah, sorry. Oh, shut up. You still need me for anything here? I'll be getting home straight away. I won't be standing around here chatting with you if I wouldn't take care of my duties. 30 minutes is all it took to finish preparations for a big party. I'm about to see everybody off. Sorry. Can be helped, I suppose, and it's more of your loss than mine. I just wanted some company tonight, and you could really use the chance to appear here on official duties, so everyone can get to know your face. Have you ever... Heaven knows your fast food job isn't going to get you anywhere. You know, you need to... What do they call it? Hustle? You don't need to tell me that. But it's not like being paraded around by a bunch of blue blood douchebags is. You somehow managed to give me a painful nudge in the back without even so much of a hint of visible movement. Language, you fool. They're coming out. Just stand there in silence for 5 minutes and focus on not embarrassing yourself any further, will you? Got it. The first two silhouettes appear in the doorway of our hole. An old man in a wheelchair pushed forward by his young servant. Haven't seen them here before. But they're not. Mr. Payne, the night is still young. I hope you find the rest of it pleasant. Payne, the wheelchair, I've heard about him. Addison Payne, one of American Camera's main connections to the government and Wall Street. Disabled in quite a few ways. Needs a few servants to communicate. I'd be full of resentment if I was embraced in his condition, but apparently, Payne is nothing but grateful for his immortality. He keeps writing fervent defenses of traditions of maniac cameralist customs. Good night, Mr. Payne. He wordlessly shakes Quadar's hand, but doesn't even give a discerning nod towards me. At least his servant gives me a small bow in return. They leave. Quadar turns to the next person leaving. High Regent, can't wait to see you in your outfit. Spare me, Sheriff. These fancy dress parties cause me enough suffering without your help. I only hope you haven't conspired with Helen to embarrass me with this gift. This works so well. He's a Toreador. This would work so well if he was about Hakim, but mostly doing a team of two. Whatever. Go. She points out a shrink-wrapped set of clothing and carrying inside her coat. And then Quadar smirks briefly. To be fair, this can be in between. I didn't have to. As well, you know, Prince Penhard displays a considerable insightful amount of party planning. Yes, if there's one thing she's deadly serious about, it's frivolities. A recognizable mortal quality, especially for a prince. We ought to celebrate it, not oppose it. Don't worry, Sheriff, I'm a big girl who knows etiquette. I'll play your games, amuse the crowd a little bit, but return to my studies as fast as possible. A selling Sturtberg, the High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, a hero of the Battle of New York, the biggest warlock in town, could be a prince herself if she didn't have an eye on the bigger prize. The thing is, nobody knows what the prize is. They only know that's something to do with her goal of thaumaturgical research. Whoever tries to find out what is failed violently. I'm sure you're going to have fun. Miss Suzuki here just informed me Catherine Weiss is back in town. It is safe to assume she'll be joining our festivities. You're kidding me. She sends her regards. Her negative reaction intrigues me, so I decide to give her another nudge. She told me to send her regards and that she would absolutely can't wait to catch up. Cheeky. The hint of torment on her face is less than I would count on, but it will do. Weiss. Excellent. I'd like to catch up with her. The barely concealed venom in her voice suggests that in fact she'd hate to catch up with her. Yes, it looks like tomorrow will be very special. But for now, I bid you adieu. And she's gone. Is there some kind of story between Arsing and Weiss that I should be aware of? The part about sending regards, that was a bold-faced lie, wasn't it? An innocent one. Overselling someone's courteous is just a good etiquette. You're unbelievable. Well, I doubt High Regent Sturtberg took it as courtesy. Considering she once attempted to call for a blood hunt on Weiss. Wow, why? I've heard 5 different versions of the story. All of them seem possible. Catherine's relationship with the city is odd, to say the least. But hush, for now. Oh yeah! What? She must have been in the city, like... If we go with, our boy Wilhelm followed her into the Sabbat, and they were in New York. She possibly was a Sabbat, a higher bishop at least, by that point. It's never restated in the game what happened to her other than her and Wilhelm joined the Sabbat. It's interesting that she has an Elysium holder. Maybe she... Sorry, again, sorry for zoning out again. I just looked at my phone. I shouldn't do that while streaming. I'm just gonna put it over there. He's obviously trying to kill the conversation. The appearance of Thomas Arthur gives him a perfect way out. Mr. Arthur? Ah, I'll seem. Keeping good work, eh? Of course. Thomas Arthur, architect by trade. He's a herald, a member of Prince Penhard's inner circle, an eccentric whose thoughts seem to be 10 times faster than his words. I'm here to... We're doing this just out of spite because I dislike this guy for the ending of the last game. Any tasks for me, Mr. Arthur? I'm always ready to prove myself. Ah, yes. He disappears into the night. Well, that was brief. Maybe I should stand in the way. That might force them to properly acknowledge my existence. You severely underestimate their dedication to ignoring whelps like you. And just in case you're serious, I beg of you, don't. I've been meaning to ask you for a while now, but never had the opportunity. You really hate out-of-tone guts, don't you? He carefully measures his diplomatic response. No, I have no strong feelings about Thomas Antro whatsoever. Well, considering you always listing positives about every local camera representative under the moon, you might as well have called him a language whelp. And as for Antonio, I will share my opinion about him as soon as I come up with one that sticks with more than a week. A group of kindred emerges from Valhalla, rushing towards the stairs. Only a noble-looking woman stops next to us. She's wearing a hijab, but curiously enough doesn't hide her hair beneath it. Primogen? If you are rude enough to stare, you'd quickly notice the clothes serve to cover up most of the horrific scars. Quidar! Oh, and young Julie. I'm doing my best not to stare, because Samara is one of the few NYC Camarilla figures who hasn't been an asshole to me yet. Still here, did the prince require the clan of the Hunt's counsel in some matter? Yes, I advised that no matter how hard she tries, she wouldn't expect me to wear a different costume tomorrow night. The Ba Hakim, Primogen, and like the La Sombra, their clan was independent from Camarilla until relatively recently. However, they negotiated a better deal than we did. They have a Primogen for one. Hailing from the Middle East, the Ba Hakim are drawn to the practice of justice. The rules must be upheld and every transgression punished. They don't do much to say in NYC, but the prince often seeks their judgment. It's just good PR. I trust she understood. Those are beautiful clothes. Thank you so much. I'm eager to see the outfit you come up with. And how are you, Julie? Have you seen any lights at the end of the tunnel? Same old, same old. Same old, Samira. Just still wandering in the dark, bumping into my shins every 2 steps. Sorry to hear that. I trust pestering the prince and your superiors to improve your standing. I trust you're pestering your prince and your superiors to improve your standing. It's a process. Julie, you won't achieve anything if you don't reach out for it. Quidar, weren't you supposed to teach her the ropes? I'm trying to, Primogen, but with this child, it's always a process. I can only wish you good luck. Good luck then. Good night, Julie. Good night, Quidar. Good night. Have a safe trip. I like her. Valhalla's almost emptied by now. You like her, don't you? Stop with your class clown act. Well, it only serves to reveal deep insecurities. Whoa, that's harsh. It's factual. Well, as harsh as you claim. She did tell us both to call her Samara, but you still keep good distance by calling her Primogen shit. What's your profanity? And don't project your fantasies onto me. I won't give you a lesson about professional boundaries, but I suspect you will eventually learn it. You'll eventually learn it will be extremely unpleasant. Who the hell are you? Am I interrupting something, good folks? Even though I'm constantly pestering him, Quiddar's composure is unshaken. His response becomes swift and unfazed. Oh, Mr. Van der Winden. Van der Winden? Heading back to your office? You know me, dear sheriff. Where else would I go? Now, that's curious. Even though Vinden is a Primogen as well, a Malkavian to be precise, I didn't hear Quidar mention him address him as such. Hope to see you tomorrow night. Oh, I will absolutely show up, providing I can. But just in case, I already apologize for not making it to the prince. Simply drowning in work these days. The rhythm, tempo, the national patterns, his voice is so familiar. Half of it sounds like JFK, the other half exactly like Barack Obama. Just like his appearance, it all seems so fake. He's old money, of course. Comes from a long line of Dutch merchants who originally sailed New York region. Runs a wildly successful law firm. Rob outbuilds with a leader of both kindred and kind verities alike. He seems perfect in every way, but that's why he's so unnerving. He's a child of Malkav, and he's belied by some affliction, but whatever it is, it doesn't let it show. Hard not to wonder what he's hiding. Sorry, just yawning and stretching my legs. The celebrations are prepared to last all week. Surely you'll find time then. I pray I will. My good man, I pray I will. In case you need to reach me, you know where to find me. Have a good one. He doesn't even register my presence before leaving. Sometimes I think they are all still hoping I will simply go away. As Carr drives away in his limousine, Quidar shakes his head. You want to hear about a member of the New York City Council I dislike the most? Yes? He shoots me a knowledgeable glance and smirk. Too bad. They're all my dear colleagues and I deeply respect each one of them. You sure do. Wouldn't want you to blow out something that could lock you out of Mr. Van der Wang's legal services, would you, Kissassa? I do expect to find myself in need of good defense attorney when my broke, incompetent, foul-mouthed assistant finally pushes me over the edge. Rude. You still need me here. I still need to swing by St. Patrick's tonight. Don't worry, we're almost done. The prince is coming out. The captain is the last person to leave the ship, huh? And there she is, Helen Penhard, the big kahuna, as someone I once knew would call her, the de facto ruler of New York City and self-proclaimed patron of the arts. Quidar, a penny for your thoughts. You should be pleased to hear the High Regent is resigned to her fate. My prince, Van der Wenden is decidedly not. I expect he will be too busy to join the festivities all the week though. Excellent. She turns to me. Mr. Aski, when are you supposed to accompany our good sheriff in his duties tonight? There was an unexpected change of plans. Catherine Weiss is back in the surgery. Catherine is here. That's a welcome surprise, but what does she have to do with you, Miss Groutsy? She said she didn't want to trouble you with all the paperwork regarding her arrival, Prince Panhard. It's all taken care of. Quindard has also been informed of everything. That's certainly a nice gesture, but wait a minute now. Where exactly did you meet her? In a fast food restaurant, my prince. I see. Helen rubs her eyes. Catherine, and her love for pluses, proletarian, that's a word. God, I'd be like, proletarian amusements. I suppose it would be his source of amusement accolades this week. If we were to avoid these situations in the future, it might be good to discuss offering Miss Kowalski an office of her own. Well, get to it, eventually. There'll be more pressing matters at hand. The festival starts tomorrow, and there's still so much to be done. Will you make sure that our hole is secured before leaving? Certainly, my prince. Have a good night. Good night, Kudar. Good night, Mrs. Wazowski. We'll talk about your work soon. Don't worry. Of course. Good night, Prince Penhart. A chauffeur escorts her to a limo. There's an awkward silence between me and Kudar until she disappears around the corner. More pressing matters, huh? Penny for your thoughts, Sheriff? I'm certain an image of a keeper of Elysium stuck in a fast food restaurant will linger with Prince Penhart's mind. You're far closer to your goal than you were a few minutes ago. I'm pretty sure I've heard you say something to that effect a few times now. And I stand by my words. Rome was not built in a day, Julie. As a Camarilla loyalist, don't you think it sucks that Ivory Tower is so hell-bent on showing disrespect to my clan? They're actually willing to make fools of themselves in the process. We all have to endure our own hazing rituals, but yes, the current situation is not ideal. Whatever, you need a hand closing up Elysium? I'll manage. I'll be getting late. Better run. Some shadows in Chicago is possibly impatient to get a copy of reports you've given me. You've pleased our one master. Now it's time to please the others. Yeah, there's a thing of working for two masters. Neither of them really thinks of you as their own. Not knowing how to reply, Quindar shrugs and waves a goodbye. I head to the subway. When I reach St. Patrick Cathedral, I'm greeted by a voice that greets me like teeth from tinfoil. What the hell happened? Hey, Benno! What the hell happened to you, my guy? I don't know. He looks like he's doing better. He looks like it, but God. Yeah, no, this must take place after Curry's of New York. It must be like a year after, I'm guessing, or a couple years after. Sorry, just taking a drink. Well, the prodigal daughter returns. Oh my God, no. This is one thing I didn't want to happen. Julie, please, thou shalt not take the name of Lord thy God in vain. Where's Father Leonhard? His clergy duties keep him from getting here on time. He sent me to apologize in his name and keep you company for a few minutes. That's the second thing he ought to be apologizing for. He just wants his flock to live in unity. I am more than willing to oblige. Why won't you? For the last time, I'm not part of his flock. We have a purely professional arrangement. I know you see it that way. The Night Clan's tendency to stick close to Catholic churches is their greatest virtue, but still consider that relationship purely instrumental. This is why the kindred like you bring spiritual change to your clan, to make them understand God's precious gift. The closer you'd get to the light, the greater their shadows would become. Again, with insufferable sermonizing. Brenner's signal. Here is a local nutjob, an ex-artist. A degenerate... Hang on, what? Oh, Clan Toreador. I forgot that was a name for them. Who had some sort of complete mental breakdown in the 90s. To recover, he took religion for solace and guidance. At first, he proclaimed his readiness to devote the rest of his own life to Gnosticism. After a few years, though, he changed his mind and joined the Catholic Church instead. As his luck would have it, the Nephilim zeal found a major target in him. When I first met him, I was stupid enough to tell him I was raised Catholic and I still identify as such somewhat. He immediately pictured me as some sort of force of change within the Camarilla and set to putting me back on the righteous path. Now he won't stop preaching to me, apparently until I become a nun. Remember, the darkest places is directly beneath the candle. You turncoats have unfortunate proposition to find salvation within your grasp, and then losing your way in the shadows. Christ, once he starts, he just won't stop. I guess it's time to bring out the big guns. By the way, I'm meaning to ask, got any news about Sophie Langley? Here it is. A painful grimace crosses his face, but doesn't linger. Kind of rude to change subjects, you know? Rude. I'm just looking for a topic that both sides of this conversation would care about. You know, like any guidance of etiquette would say you should. Salvation is a topic to anyone's heart, whether they admit it or not. And it's pretty bold of you to assume I still care about Langley. I don't assume. I'm certain you do. The second she retires from the public eye, you stop acting like Yahtzee-era Kanye and start like Jesus King Kanye. This did not age well. Coincidence. This did not age well, dear God. Oh, okay. We're just gonna carry on. I've never heard of Yahtzee-era. Do people still call it that? Here's how it's gonna work. Tell me what you know. I'll tell you what they say. Keep in mind, I don't know if she was your sire until a few nights ago. Hell, I haven't even met her. He winces a bit by saying hell, but lets it go. Sure. I figured you would have probed that would have long ago if you knew. But what do you care anyway? Better to let you drone on about torment past the... Better to let you drone on about the torment of past than let you carry on with your good missionary stick. Professional courtesy. Once a journalist, always a journalist. He scratches his head, then exhales a sad mockery of a chuckle. Fine then. I'll do my best to make it short. Just like you said, Sophie Langley, every New York City's kindred beloved socialite, was my sire. We first met in a time after World War II. I left France right after the Nazis went around Margaret Line. I struggled to keep my siblings alive with my art. Watched my brother die during a flu epidemic of 43. I was close to losing my mind. That's when she showed up. Said the sheer torment in my work caught her eye. She became my patron, allowing my talents to flourish, and supported me financially. Eventually, she embraced me. As a well-off kindred, my artistic interest started as a natural diversion from what they used to be back when I was a poor mortal upstart. I began to see the world the way her social circle does, and that she couldn't forgive. Instead of being fun novelty, I became another part of the malice surrounding her. She grew distant and then stopped seeing me altogether. I've had my share of meltdowns because of this. I won't deny I locked myself out of many career opportunities, but it was an important lesson. Don't trust your elders. Vampirism affects them psychologically as well. They take interest in you. They won't stop. They won't stop until they suck your soul dry, and then they discard you like a broken toy. For the first time since I've met him, Signal registers to me something other than a biblical Bible-thumping nuisance. Is it compassion I feel? Do I find him relatable? How dreadful. It's possible that he's strategically eliciting sympathy. Maybe he's heard about the dramatic exile of Lodestar, or maybe he's alluding to the way my sire left me here to fend for myself. It's only God who never refused to lead you astray. This is why I find your act so frustrating, Julie. You're so close to getting it, but you choose sin instead. That's Brennet's signal, I know. Almost had me fooled. Let me get back on track. What about Langsley disappearance from the city? Her path was a road of perdition. Wherever she ended up, I doubt she was too happy about it. She had plans for the future of this city. Wanted to make it her ultimate artwork. She always was a vain one. And of course, you are completely sure you have nothing to do with the disappearance. Please don't tell me you're getting at what I think you're getting at. Everybody says you're acting like you're trying to repent for something ever since her vanishing act. And you've got a motivation, of course. I'm getting what you would think of getting. I'm getting at what you think I'm getting at. Bowen shakes his head. You really have a devil in your heart, Julie. Always testing me. Just asking what everyone's thinking. Are they now? Listen, I'm familiar with a lot of the insults attached to my name in the city. Those aren't exactly comparable with the image of a ruthless killer. Killer? Huh, that's an interesting. I hadn't said anything about killing. He scrubs his hands with his forehead, collects himself before responding. Stop picking apart every word I say in complete, unpleasant ways. Here's a statement if you really want one. Mr. Hercule Parrot. I do believe Sophie, the way I believe her, has met her end. Even if she's still walking the earth, she wouldn't have come back here as the same prideful aristocrat. She seems to have undergone a spiritual rebirth. Someone has reminded of her of a place. Her former friends talk of her in hushed tones. Even that servant of a play toy of hers went missing. No more Camarilla pies. She's done. So we're just dead. Gawain's just dead in this one. Whatever happened to her? I don't know. I swear on Jesus and his sandals, I had nothing to do with it. But yes, I'm still here and she's not. That's not the reason to go to gloat, but to be more humble. I received a sign from God telling me to re-examine my unfortunate ways, and I still resemble Sophie Langley. And I listened. I rejected the pride I shared with her. I renewed my vows to God, committed to preaching his greatness. I mean, this is why we're having this conversation in the first place. Right now, I think Langley's influence on my life. I'm grateful because she was a sign that got me here. And if God wills it, maybe one day, you'll look at her the same way, Julie. Oh, God, sorry for you. No, mental note. Whenever he circles back to preachy tone, it's time to intervene. Alright. If it makes you feel any better, I think you're the only way a wimp like you could have hurt her is by boring her to death by Bible quotes. Now then, quid pro quo tit for tat. You're saying people still talk about me. I was curious if... Oh look, who's finally here. Stalling for time, Father Leonard rushes in a direction, carrying folders of documents on his arm. I assume it's one of those I came here for. Father Leonard? Christ be praised, Julie. Yesterday I was told this is how priests greet their parishioners in Eastern Europe. Forever and ever, amen, actually. I think we said each other's lines. Never mind. Another long night. Isn't it taking a toll on you? No need to worry. These days I sleep for a few hours. I sleep a few hours a day. Short naps take care of the rest. There's always work to be done. I apologize for being late. At least I managed to get here before you and Brian went for each other's throats. Good, I was getting worried. Oh, who do you take me for, Father? He takes you for a total bozo who's about effective as converting people as a documentarian about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. He's just too kind to say it out loud. Ouch. That hurt. Hear what I have to deal with, Father, but don't you worry, I'll make a saint of her yet. Forget saint. For now, I had settled for an adult in the room. That's what you're here to... That's what you are for. Isn't that what you're for? I've been patient with that role, but by now, you kids should be moving on. Not leaving crayon marks on the walls and throwing food at any time Daddy's not looking. So let's just focus on the grown-up duties, shall we? Julie, here. He gives me a folder that he was carrying, and I pass him the reports I wrote earlier. Among kindred, it's common for the Catholic Church is one of La Sombra's greatest assets. Hell, it might even be one of the main reasons the Camarilla is slowly warming up to the clan. We are technologically impaired, and as such, woefully unprepared to face the challenges of communication in the 21st century. Hard to handle advanced encryption when you can't even unlock a smartphone. Oh god, my throat. Would my model look up? Ugh. This is... sorry, I'm just giving a stretch. This is where Vatican connections enter the picture. A web of priests scattered all around the world exchanging our dispatch between each other, making sure all they reach their destination in total secrecy. I was told not everyone in Baha'i is friendly to our kind, but the skilled and talented are. You could say they're like mortal Camarilla, better than any intelligence service. Remember what happened to John Paul when he attempted to uncover workings of institution of the workings in religion? Death after 33 days of past rumors of the CIA and Mary's involvement. Not that Father Leonhard has anything to do with any of that. For Catholic priest, he's alright. He probably have made me stay a believer a few years longer than I did, had I had him as a teenager. Leonhard is intelligent, kind, helpful towards his parishioners, treats his supervisors with a healthy dose of skepticism, and is not involved with any sort of political church game. Well, at least nobody beyond helping me get contact from my bosses in Chicago every other night or so. He knows about kindred and he knows about the Second Inquisition. He opted to avoid the latter in order to keep the former from oppression, because according to him, it's the right thing to do. I know there's got to be something wrong with him. Some selfish motivation, maybe. I haven't nailed it down yet, but it doesn't feel like he's making an effort to hide it, so I'm giving him a pass. By the way, I hope you don't mind. I finally took the liberty of asking about what your parents are doing. Thank you, Father, but you shouldn't have. Not a problem. As a priest of Saint Santa Claus Costa is a good friend. A priest, he said your parents started showing up every Sunday again. Front rows. Your father's looking better and better. It makes me feel nothing, but I still give him a token nod and a grateful smile. Thank you, Father Leonard. Now, if you excuse me, the sunrise is almost here. Be careful, and God bless you. Amen. Goodbye, Julie. I'll let you off the hook this time, but next time you won't be so lucky. All right? Sure. Just one more thing on my never-ending list of events that I'm not looking forward to. Guess it's time to call it a night. I'm home. Oh, finally. Descartes. Okay, this is our human lover. Finally, you doing alright? Fine, I guess. Why aren't you asleep? I figured it'd be finally time to become more of a night owl. We've been talking about making our schedule sync better. What's your vitamin D? I'd kill to have your skin. Would be a shame to waste it. Shouldn't have smoked so much before you go on bin, sweetheart. You should have shed your skincare routine with me back then. I'd still be breathing. I can't just go around sharing my own secret weapon. It's top secret stuff. MK Ultra, Jeffrey Epstein current whereabouts level. This did not age well. I'd have to kill you if I told you. I have a secret weapon too. Fair. My kind is a secret anti-aging weapon after all. But hey, if you don't care about that, what'd that be? Anidrochromes? Close. Spirit cooking. Wait, what? Just so we're clear, you're not shitting me, right? Of course I'm shitting you. We drink blood. Nothing too satanic about that. Funny, because whenever I see your chest, I'm surprised there's no cross-shaped mark burned there. Well, since you mentioned it, eh? Never mind. I feel a bit more self-conscious than usual tonight. Don't. You don't want you want me to do your makeup before you go to sleep? No need. Weren't you supposed to have some sort of big party tomorrow night? I was involved in the backstage stuff. What makes you think I was invited? Because you're the coolest, cutest, all-around amazing person I know. They'd been saying not to put you on the shortlist. Believe it or not, most vampires are pretty insane. Interdimensional psychic vampire level insane. Because that's just how crazy you have to be to ignore you like this. Yeah, I'd say so. Fuck them. They're a bunch of posh dicks. They'd hate you because they aren't you. But they'll see. Jesus, how do you do it? Do what? You always assault me with so much weird, stupid positivity. I can't react to it without completely shifting my mental attitude. How do you do it? Oh, the answer's easy. You remember how I told you we have this spiritual connection? I can sense that you feel and want. You sense why I feel too if you really focus. Yeah, I think I called it a big load of bullshit. Said a girl who talks to ghosts. But watch this, Agent Scully. I sense you're feeling down, and I realize you really need to end this night. She points to one of the drawers. It's the one where she keeps her supply of ketamine. Come on. What? No, wrong drawer. No, wrong drawer. You're not meeting demons. You're meeting angels. MDA? Ding dong. Ding ding ding. Ding ding ding. Took it half an hour ago. Perfect timing. Thanks to our spiritual connection. ... Ready to fly away? The mood isn't right. I need music. Got a special SoundCloud playlist ready to go. Prepared specifically to uplift one Julie Sosowski. Just give me a sign and I'll press play. Jesus, you're impossible. That's why I love you, I hope. That's why you love me, I hope. ... I give up. Come here. Let's just have a taste of you. Maybe this one time, the high won't end. Damn, Julie's life is depressing. I love it, but like that little lie just sinks in how like Julie's life isn't great, isn't the best. Sorry, just having a drink of water because I need my throat not to give up when we have an hour left. I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I feel a little nervous when I spend too much time here with her. She never let me escape from being a center of attention. It's exhausting. At least the time I spent with her, the happier she is to see more of me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. The only list of my chores tonight? Yeah, yes, the thing. Don't show up, have a pie at the art hole. Well, this is a rare night where I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around the city to see what's up. Maybe fix myself a little drink when I'm at it. Okay, so we got a walk in a park. I don't know, so we can either go to this one or this one. I think we'll go this one, Breaking the Habit. What was I thinking? I mean, even the most hopeful introvert earns for company every now and then, but is in that company of someone they know or a total stranger reveals themselves to be a soulmate, they always sort. Even for someone as neurotic as me, there's something enthralling about the idea of briefly trading on individualism for a place in the crowd. You can just wander around and stare like a peeping Tom hidden in plain sight. If there's anything missing from the shell of my previous social life, it's the intangible sense of being a part of a living mass. But really, Coney Island of all places? What was I thinking? Surely it's my ID finally revealing that I'd been missing all along. Or my sick soul really wanting a nibble on William Caramel apples that they're taking an overpriced Wonder Wheel ride. Well, I'm here. Might as well try and make one of those. Might try at least one of those tourist traps. Spookorama. A goofy-looking cyclone hanging around the entrance to the haunted house is somewhat of a cheap but inviting appearance. I paid for a ticket in hopes of seeing more than this sort of quiche. I don't stick around long until the end of the storm out through the emergency exit. Jesus. I died, I drank a rat's blood once, lost the ability to use modern technology, and with all that in mind, I still consider this to be the worst experience yet. Now that I experienced something else, not that I experienced something else, but still, I'm not sure what I was hoping for. Amidst the crowds of cigarette smoke, I end up noticing an old woman perched silently on the wall. She looks like one giant wrinkle, but her gaze is lively and pierces right through me. I pull the cramped package out of my back pocket, my last smoke. I raise the lighter as some promised dick occupied with his visible bored girlfriend shoves the cigarette out of my hand. Somehow, it's his half-assed apology that pisses me off the most. The urge to drink him dry is strong, but I pass it. I look beneath my feet and I hear the old croon crackling as my cigarette sinks into a puddle in his facility. Fuck. I turn towards the exit and notice some brawny dudes closing in on me. The way he's dressed, the same uncanny aura as Stephen Buscemi walking through a high school corridor in a skate outfit, except Stephen Buscemi is 1,000 times cooler than this guy. He gets right in my face and hands me a cigarette, pulling it out rather annoyed smirk. Having a bad night, sweetheart? Does respond. I look the other way and attempt to walk past him. I completely disregard my reluctance and starts waving my hand erratically like a second hand of mine. That's a shame, but hey, you seem like a girl who likes to have fun. I know these things. I had something here, just for you. Wanna check it out? For the bizarre peacock dance, this colorful wristband pops from behind his sleeve. Shit, man, how clueless could you be? Is this hidden camera show? Or maybe one of just newbies hazed by the rest of your undercover unit? Keep ignoring him. I'll walk away, but he's persistent and two-faced. He's persistent as a two-faced. That's a good simile. Sorry. I get really hyped about lowering things like that, because, you know. God, you can't handle my obvious charm? I see how it is. Don't worry, Chica. Hey, where are you going? Well, I can't be persistent, too. I can keep walking. Come on! You came here looking for amusement, didn't you? Pardon me, didn't you? I've got just the thing. I raised my middle finger without even looking back. Hey, don't be like that. You seem to have struck a nerve, but he doesn't know how to handle it. Come on, big guy, just give me a reason. Well, fuck you too, bitch. Now that's just rude, and begs for a reaction. We're just gonna walk away. It's not worth it. He might not be the sharpest tool in the shed, but he's probably not alone. I'm sure I could take him and his pig friends, but I didn't really feel like getting tased in the face tonight. Would a taser even work on me? That might not be the right time to find out. Right now, it's time to leave this shell behind. Goodbye, officer. Guess that's enough human interaction for one night. Once more to Big B Burger, into the last fast food joint I'll ever know. I'll have the usual. The first time I used to use this line, I wasn't sure it would work, but I'm gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. The cashier smiles, nods, changes me for one black coffee. I can't imagine them instructing the newbies. See that emo weirdo? That's here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee, nothing else, and she doesn't even drink it. Probably won't take a single sip if I was alive. This stuff is just trash, but at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit around for as long as I want to. I wish I could use one of those self-order kiosks to minimize human contact, but the touchscreen doesn't exactly like me. Not too long ago, I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Well, the good news is it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is because every kindred who imagines having fun at our house right now. It's not like I wanted to go, I just wanted them to invite me so I could tell them to fuck off. I scanned the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision, naively hoping someone will come in to save me from my misery. Guess I am. Please, 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 let someone come in and get me out of here. A prince, a princess, a knight in shining armor, a fairy godmother, a passing huntsman, Big Bad Wolf, Amelia Jovic, Vin Diesel, Asha Banks. Hell, I'll take anyone at this point. ... Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconscious, I materialize a dream. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you're internally stuck being a nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant, sweet little Julie. Unlife's a bitch, and then you don't even get to die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it a little too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book that I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the late 50s and therefore contains no amusing drugged out rants about childhood in Maine, I switch back to looking at the entrance. The pie must be stiff and trashy and boring. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation. I'm asking for amusement, but it doesn't come. All I get is boring bozos in normcore clothes. They walk in, take care of their business without doing anything amusing me, and walk out. A few minutes later, after I lost all hope, an elegant man marches in a springless step. He looks around patiently, irrationally, and then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches the table and looks at me and says, "There you are. Nah, that's curious. He shouldn't be here." Big Bad Wolf? Careful, everyone. The Big Bad Wolf is here. You'll huff and you'll puff and you'll blow your house down. ... Why are you stalking me, Wolf? Yeah, you'll have to know I'm not falling for the grandmother in disguise ever again. My dumb attempts at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eyes. He just stares at me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car now. His tone leaves me no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I want to ask what, but whatever he says, I will simply ignore all dumb shit you have to say mode. I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I simply follow him to the exit. He guides me to his car. I hope I haven't messed anything up again. I don't think I have, but have I? Quidar's car as usual. He gives me a back seat. By the way, I love Quidar's and Julie's relationship. It's probably the best thing so far. I mean, Julie and Dakota's one is pretty cute, but Quidar having like this weirdly mentor father role towards Julie is really nice. I like it. Quidar's car, as usual, he gives me the back seat. He's always uneasy with the passenger seat he is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Normally I'd catch him observing me in a rearview mirror, but this time he's watching the street, more tense than usual. Something has caught him off guard. I've got my seatbelt on and my popcorn ready. What's up? The awkward silence feels like it would last forever. Eventually, he finds the right words to speak up. 6 weeks ago, the prince told me to parlay with Van Ox in the docks, remember? Yeah, and you made me tag along so I could learn something about politics. As it turned out, politics meant something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at a wedding party. There was a man who didn't need to shout to make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room, their leader, the white head, a monocle, musty clothes. The fucking Puck? Yeah. The Scrooge McDuck? Yeah. How could I forget? A lot of the punchy old-timey bravado and gendered insults flung my way. What was his name? Something British made me think of Hollywood. Callan? Baron Callan. Douglas Boss Callan. That's right. It's 2020, but the man's opinions and ideas were stuck in the 1920s. Wasn't Van Ox supposed to be the progressive option? I never understood why they put up with him. He's a way of predicting where things will go and wind will blow. Anytime the Camarilla Versailles hit Van Ox, it was the factions opposing him that were hurt. The luckiest bastard in the world. Though you don't believe in luck. I don't. But it sure hell looks like his luck has finally ran out tonight. Huh. Wait, don't tell me. You're going to kill him? So, what you're saying is you're heading to his office to kill him? What? Just what? No, absolutely not. Looks like a Mr. Mark, by a mile. Even if, and that's a big if, an idea like that wasn't completely opposed to everything Prince Bernhard has been doing over the past few years, his tone suddenly sounds as if it was being addressed particularly to a dumb child. Worst part is, you probably deserve it. There wouldn't be any need for that. The man has ceased to exist. Wait, he's dead. Deader than dead. Nyshen saw the bastard has met his final death. How do you know? I've got trustworthy source in Anarch circles. Looks like all hell is about to break loose. Then there's an emergency meeting at our house. Jesus, and you're bringing me with you. Why? Because you were on your way. Because I could. Because I should. You might not be important to the members of the Corps, but you're still an ally to the sect. Symbolically, at least. I can justify sneaking you into the pie, claiming it's for your own protection. As an exploring alliance between the Big Bad Wolf and the poor little Red Riding Hood. Wait a minute. The pie is still happening? I called the prince. Told her the best course of action would be stopping and starting to listen to scurry patrols. I have prepared for these sort of situations. She interrupted me halfway through and told me we'll be discussing this subject face to face. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The pie is important, huh? Politics. Politics is always that important. I don't know if he's trying to convince me or himself. And once again, politics sounds an awful like a bunch of pie-loving assholes shouting at each other. Don't worry, this isn't that kind. How should I call it? Governing issues. The likes that you and I tend to deal with. And how should I describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? Good, shoveling ourselves out of shit. As usual, he seems a little embarrassed for cursing, or for being too honest. Either way, it's cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay in silence. The car rides off towards the unknown. I'm not a New York City baron. The Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, the memory of old douchebag you thought he could rule the world crosses your mind. Well, it looks like the world has left him behind. Sayonara, asshole. And here I am, the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight, the art hall. Guessing by the sounds of inside lively. Even if they knew it was an emergency, they simply didn't care. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea, do I? You think a bouncer will let you in? There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just start walking, whelp. And we're here. Sorry, just stretching my legs. Depending on how the game goes, we might end it a bit early. I do have stuff to do today, so right after this. And here I am, among the pieing elites, as if scruffy and boring as I expected, but hey, at least it's exclusive. The title of Panhan came up with these yearly gatherings. It's called Celebration of Power, an invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and our space they inhabit. That's actually a pretty cool art exhibition for vampires. A week-long event is packaged with all sorts of performance art pieces meant to make the kindred who are involved in celebrating their potential instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. We need a counter-program to the omnipresent image of tragic vampires, with images that remind us that we are inheritors of the earth and that we are now free to remake it in our image, the way our prince puts it. To this end, she organizes a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the pie and business meetings are the most important. My prince. Quidar, finally. A saint with angelic wings, a holy patron for New York City. I take a good look around. Half the figures here are dressed like they're attending a mask ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I didn't fully understand the theme here. I knew Pakal was was based on psychomagic, a sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of art. But simply put, the holy mass and the undead mass is equal measure. A set of rituals meant to make the participant wholeheartedly accept that both the worst and best this earth has to offer. Put on this mask, at very least. You're standing out. Oh my god. Here. I heard the aesthetic basis of pie was the black mask in the film of Eyes Wide Shut. Something thinks this decision means Panhard is toned out, but it's quite the contrary. She knows Vanox are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhetoric and pointing out the glaring contradiction in the theatrical Bell-Evan rule. But instead of denying this and subverting the aesthetic designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them. Instead of risking a satirization effect, a stanza effect, she effectively defangs her opposition. The resistance becomes part of the system, and both the Camera and Monarch get the same message. Don't think of it as a pathology, think of it as the new norm. I'll collect the key advisors. You've been told here to come here. I don't think there need for us to hold the meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over there. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Mrs. Zalksy I see behind you? Just like Kadar talk. Just like Kadar talk. I nudged Kadar to take over. I collected her on my way here because of her role as the La Sombra representative. Just say political hostage. You probably have made it perfectly clear what's happening with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. I realized she might be a target and decided to hide her at Valhalla. Putting all our eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I'll look for a safe place for her to spend the night. I hate you so much, Thomas. Let her stay with you for now. Aliceem, time is of the essence. Aha, you got a funny porcelain mask. It reminds me way too much of a changeling villain who is basically this guy who can lie and manipulate everyone and it's really hard to figure out, goddamn. I didn't notice him sneak up on us. Nice get up. Are you absolutely sure? But of course, everything will stay here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Penhard has already come up with appropriate messages. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot elderly vampires guiding a young, fashionable human girl towards the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think about it too deeply what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Aliceem. All of the appropriate security protocols have already been activated. Me and the Prince have already pulled some strings as well. The solution is mostly under control. Mostly under control. Never lets anyone sleep any easier. Aliceem, I know this is that as the Prince's sword, you're aching for blood, but you have to accept that, like most weapons known to men, you're most effectively hidden in the sheath. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard? All of a sudden, Samira appears between the two men. Her calm, collective voice completely changes the atmosphere, as expected from the self-proclaimed protector of the peace. Samira, I hope you're enjoying yourself. To be quite honest, I feel out of place. She nods and smiles at me. Probably a signal that she takes solace as not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. Especially now, seeing as I heard the meeting is meant to be those of greater status than mine. Nonsense, you've dedicated your member to discussions. Once that might require severe judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wish for a child of Hakim to be involved. Of course, that's why I was with your expression in your face, Hakuda. He quickly collects himself. Look who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, Lady Lasing Starbridge, walks up to the group in an outfit I would have never imagined her in, pretending everything is par of course. Yep, okay, legitimately, yeah, no, just call us on, just call the straight up Tremere devils and demons and usurpers. I get it. I'm just taking a drink. Sorry. Prince Picard, the Sheriff, the Harpy, the Bahakim Primogen, and we are still waiting for someone? He's almost here. Shining even more brightly than usual. Alicing, I adore your outfit, Samara. I wish the Prince allowed me the same amount of effort for mine. I, for one, am glad she didn't. Practically, I love those horns. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on at the Prince's behest. I do believe she's had more than enough fun. No, not yet. Ah well, this will do for now. But you're not off the hook yet. I paid costly price to see you like this. Both Godard and Prince's voice are strained whenever they attempt humour. Their minds are obviously elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Arthur, on the other hand, seems calm. We will celebrate our powers in different ways, I suppose. Now, what is this about? Just a moment. Over here, Addison. The camera's infamous spokesperson approaches, pushing towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. He looks different. Oh no, it's his servant, sorry. I took like this as a chair and thing. Helena, everyone. I certainly hope there is something important. What's a commanding tone? Seeing as Payne can't communicate normally, his servant relies his words to instead. He's a posh snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us? He gave me a fair warning that he might not make it tonight. I've got a message for him I messaged him the details. I'll be finding time to meet with him later then. Finding time, searching for lost time. I swear it's all we do nowadays, and there's never enough. I guess now you understand why I might be interested in this event must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, each deserving at least a few hours. The figure in the wheelchair waves his hands in politely. Yes, let's just cut to the chase now, shall we? This might be the wisest course of action, my prince. Otto? My prince. Everyone. Let me begin by stressing the important things. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway, and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. I do not trust you, you backstabbing scumbag. Let me repeat, we are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the big news. Baron Callan, the de facto leader of Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. Their intel is accurate as it gets. We have established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They have given us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in his destruction? I look at her in disbelief. So does everybody else. Not the same thought hasn't passed through our heads, but the simply exclaiming it like that. Oh, spare me the virtue signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I didn't give a damn if we took care of Callan or not. I just want to know if we have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it, unless someone wants to confess, now or never. Of course, nobody speaks up. Arto pretends to clear his throat. I'm guessing, this is just a guess, Thomas Atro had used the new bloodbound kindred that was from the first game to kill Callan. I'm guessing that's what happened. Because his idea was stable chaos, a constant flux of change, but him never changing from his place. As well, Callan's that's our official position as well. The Cameron's ruling body has nothing to do with it, and for all interest and position, his condense has more interest in moving him than we did. The interest is sure to manifest in one way or another. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't leave Anarchs to their own devices. As much as we like to avoid recognizing their sect in any way, we are offered to assist them in their official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me just ask you one question. You do realize those cures have no respect for the traditions, yes? We do, Anderson. But as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with those words, controlling the opposition. Yes, for now, it's impossible to get fully contained with Anarch friend New York. For now, our only option is to prompt up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans of the city. We extend our hand to the most promising candidate to give them a way to present himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rabble falls in line, the purists grow angry and alienated. We're already contracting the best possible person in their sect. We will oversee the investigation, and it is in the best interests to show that we are able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody's paying any attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is violent. The other factions within the sorry Exusual sect might try to escalate the conflict. I'll do my best to solve the situation as fast as possible. How so? Quidar momentarily taken back by Alton's question. I volunteer to coordinate the case with Vanox, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Quidar is stunned. We all do respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling with this issue and attending myself as my usual duties at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. Your penchant for working yourself to a bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but so is your perfectionism. If we do grant you your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your regular obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both tasks your best? I guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best won't cut it, Alicine. Not when the vultures are out in force. Callan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and an obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. I'll make it perfectly clear. The celebrations will continue as planned, and no matter what, this is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince. We must be on constant vigilance for a few days. Alice's sword may constantly be pointed at the enemies that surround us. The timing of the Baron's destruction is impeccable, Bannock's leaders are sure to point out that and point and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe that it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to rely particularly on the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise to brace for a lot of unfortunate coincidences, Alicing. In any case, in any case, Rabble can't give the impression that there are power struggles are of a greater concern to us. They also can't think we have something to hide, which brings us to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expert measured intensity. My best bet is a humble diplomatic envoy, a low-effort official acting as an investigator for a sort. I implore you, Prince Kudar. He bites his tongue and struggles to contain himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla evolved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for the role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative here. Oh, I think we have a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kudar look at me simultaneously. Everyone else in the room does so too. Now, wait. He can't possibly mean Miss Julie. Once again, your full name eludes me at this moment. Am I allowed to speak, or maybe I should just wait for permission? Before I made up my mind, the sheriff sighs and speaks up. Sazowski. Julie Sazowski. Right. I understand you have been used to you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. That's correct. That's correct. Among the others, Bahakim Pinjam insists that you are worthy of greater privileges and should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samurai measures at him with suspicion. Yes. Do you think she's still capable? She looks at me deeply in the eyes. I swear she's telepathically trying to please me. Please, don't fuck this up. You dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good. And I'm sure that you, Alicing, have no problem with your protege embarking on the mission, save for the pain of a mother feels when watching a child leave the nest. Whatever you do, or don't, particularly important right now, is it? It absolutely is. Penhard's backing her phone momentarily blindsides him. Prince Penhard, if Arthur's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he's left with no choice. I wouldn't entrust her with all the responsibilities that I have if she wasn't. He exchanges glances with me, but his look is different than some others. It's as if he's trying to apologize to me. Here we are. A recommendation from the Baja Kingpin and the Sheriff. To tell me the truth, I just threw out ideas, but this backing, I can't doubt the Knights Clan representation will be getting the job done. I'm certain each of us feels this way. Mr. Payne? The atmosphere in the rooms almost suggests people are glad they haven't discussed the topic further. A shrug here, an amber gaze here. It is as you say. I'll watch the way she handles the situation with great interest. Well then, Miss Wazowski, looks like you have gotten a chance for a big break. Just point me into the right direction and tell me what I need to do. No point in pretending I have a choice here, is there? Excellent. Just leave us only one more matters, which I can hope to agree on. Prince Penhard signals someone with their hand. The figure emerges from behind the curtain. Good evening. Catherine. What a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you were in town. Addison. Looking healthier than ever. What does Weiss have to do with this? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects. And so it happens, Catherine always knows how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I'd be grateful if, just for once, you decided against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. A painful grimace crosses Alicing's face, but she's quickly to interrupt the taunt as an invitation to games she can't possibly win, as long as she can prove herself useful in the proceedings in some way. In half of what I've heard from Miss van der Vergnen is true, she should be able to. And what did poor Carl have to say to me this time? Nothing specifically, just always has read between the lines with him, but it's mostly envy. Miss Weiss, grateful agreed to meditate between the Anarch representation of the Sombra Rantan, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflicts. That feeling of feudal and slip. The Sombra representative, not Camarilla representative, i.e. somebody who can't be confident with their sect without much damage to the ivory tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Avalon looks to have a clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour, you better hurry then. What the hell? All of this is happening so fast. In this situation is indeed under control. I will drive and oversee the situation. Out of the question. You've got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool. The girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. But it's not as if Anarchs have love for you, Aliceem. You are too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Better spare Mr. Zowski from having to see you two together. Do you think my guidance for Julie would be lacking, Quidar? I never said that. So do you have any objections to put her under my care? He lowers his gaze but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I need to hear. We'll be going then. Waste no time, I see. You have at least tried your amplifiers? Appetizers? Waiting is an old person's game, Helena. I still feel young. Remember, if there's anything you need help with, probably not, but I appreciate it though nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave in a rush. One of the coincidences that she told me she'd be being in a hurry yesterday. I think that is where we're probably going to end the stream. I know it's a bit early, but I have things I need to do today. So I'll be seeing you guys next time for the stream on weekend with Samurai Maiden. Until then, I hope you guys have a lovely day. And again, until then, next time, I'll be seeing you back. Until next time, see you guys for the stream. Goodbye.